Hey guys, welcome into the show. Happy Tuesday. It's Cancel This, December 20th, 2022. Getting ready to end the year. Glad you're hitting us today with Cancel This. Go to cancelthisshow.com. Tabitha Hassel alongside. I'm Vic Faust. Eric Johnson on his way in. Scotty Gherkin on the boards. Tabitha, are you awake? You ready to go?
I'm always ready, Vic.
Oh, when Scotty starts playing those tunes, I get excited.
But you know what I'm doing right now and what all of you should be doing right now?
Let me guess.
I'm sharing
You're
the
stocking
show.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sharing the show. Share the show.
I thought you were going to say you're stocking up on guns.
I've already done that.
Stocking up on my MREs. Isn't that what they're called, your MREs?
MREs. I am sharing the show because that's what we all need to do is share the show.
Bulletproof vest.
I already have all those things, Vic.
We got Scotty in studio. Hope you're feeling all right today, buddy. I know you're struggling a little bit with a little sickness. A lot of people have had some flus,
mustering through.
You are mustering through. Don't worry. Tabitha and I have taken our time with sickness. We're invincible. It is Cancel This. Of course, we're live. 3-hour podcast Monday through Friday, 7 to 10 Central. News headlines, politics, cancel culture, society, you name it. We got it. We welcome you in. Of course, if you want to join the show, we'll add the video link for you to join us. Speaking of video links and joining us, coming up 8:05, an interview. Stick around for a new friend of mine. I met her, just over a week ago. Her name is LaJoy Dabney. She's a super successful businesswoman, an African-American who came from nothing, who does say there's systemic racism, but says, you know what, deal with it, get over it. Don't let society cancel you because of how you were born. It'll be an interesting conversation. And I know Eric wants to do it because I do believe there's systemic racism, and I catch a lot of heat for that. Eric says there isn't. And it's kind of interesting because you've got a woman who is super successful now. She's got terrific coffee. Her coffee, she'll tell us, is one of the best selling that they have at the airport.
Love it.
And it's a combo between tea and coffee.
Oh, really?
So that you don't have to put any sort of sugar or make it a milkshake.
Really?
If that makes sense. Yeah, so
that is very interesting. I've never heard of anything like that.
And I know, and I wish I had some for the studio. I was too lazy to make it. I'm used to the Keurig cups, and I pop in, and we go from there. But anyway, she'll join us at 8:05 to have a good conversation about society, politics, and cancel culture from that standpoint. With that being said, we jump right in today because here's the deal. We talked about a drag show yesterday and happening Thursday night, the factory, private facility. They can do what they want, whatever acts they want to come in. The issue happened with kids. All kids, it was titled family friendly.
Correct.
So we were assuming 12 and up. Didn't it say 12 and up?
No, it said all ages.
All ages. And we showed video. Jill, one of our listeners, sent us video of what the show is. And we showed video of what it was. We talked about it here early yesterday morning in our 8 o'clock hour. Well, that gained some steam throughout the day. And so we started it in the St. Louis area on this talk because the show's supposed to be Thursday night. We started talking. Other people started talking. Parents started talking. People started talking. They started getting the word out. At some point in time, you said one of our senators?
Senator Bill Eigel,
who joined us on our show in our first week.
Right. And the Christmas drag show is Wednesday evening from 8 p.m. to midnight. Correct. 8 p.m. to midnight. But the meet and greet, I believe, starts at 6 o'clock, 5:30, 6 o'clock, 6:30, so maybe 6:30, something along those lines. But yes, Senator Bill Eigel, he sent a letter to the mayor here in Chesterfield.
Bob Nation.
And people have been all over this. I just saw an email from Mark Harder giving out all of the information for all of the different city officials. From what we understand, the Chesterfield police are going to be at the venue, and they are going to make sure that not only are they going to make sure that no children enter the facility, but they're going to make sure there's no nudity or other violations of Chesterfield law. Because what I found out a little bit more about later, you know how yesterday we were talking about Chesterfield law and it said public obscenity?
Correct.
Well, that even though that's a private facility, it's still public. It still falls under public because it is open to the public.
Yeah, and before anybody gets upset.
Private would be your home.
And before anybody gets upset with us, let's put things in context when it comes to this story.
Yes.
This isn't against kids or people trying to learn more about themselves, maybe who they feel that they are. This was about acts, sex acts, and the imitation of sex acts.
It was about
stage.
the content. And that to us, this is different things to different people.
And the explicit, you're right, the explicit conduct that would be involved. And we saw some video from it. And hey, if that's what you choose to do, go ahead. But here's the problem. It's when kids are involved, young kids.
Right.
And my whole point yesterday was the fact, you know what? Businesses are going to do what they want. It's up to parents to use your brain. However, there are instances where maybe the officials in the city have laws that go against what parents would even allow for their own kids. This is one of those cases. City of Chesterfield stepped up. They said, no, we don't like this. They saw a video that we posted here. That's what I'm saying. This live podcast, you don't have to be in national news or local news. We have every bit the power, if not more, to do what we're doing right here. And enough people were outraged. That's what I said yesterday. If you don't like what's going on, go do something about it. This is a case in point. Change the laws. My exact quote was yesterday, if you see something and you don't like, put up enough stink, put up enough effort to get legislators, to get lawmakers to change or get them to back current laws that are on the books. And it sounds like that's what you say is happening.
Absolutely. You know, several of our listeners messaged us after the show yesterday, and they said, when you guys discussed the portion about the law in the city of Chesterfield, we called the mayor's office, we called the Chesterfield Police Department, and we demanded that they take action.
I'm so glad you read that you read that.
And that was early in the morning, like immediately after the show. And so from there, I think that, you know, the ball got rolling. I know that at some point later in the day, Senator Bill Eigel did send that letter to the mayor. Other folks, other groups, you know, all reached out, you know, and contacted. It was definitely a great effort amongst a lot of people. As a matter of fact, the Riverfront Times wrote an article about it. I don't know if you saw that.
Heck yeah, they did. Are they giving Cancel this credit?
No, of course not.
Not yet, but you our listeners know, and you guys make this show what it is because you are the listeners who did. I still think the video that Jill sent put it over the top.
It did.
Because we can talk about it all day and what's going on, but when you see the video and you hear parents talk about, I this is fine for my kids, and you see the lewd acts being conducted on stage, that's what happens. Now, we were all in agreement that what is going on is not for kids, and we're all parents on this show. Eric and I were like, you know what? If they're going to do it, they're going to do it. Parents need to be smarter. You're like, oh, we got to shut it down. Parents made a big enough stink. Residents made a big enough stink. And guess what? Now it's 18 and over.
Correct. And the protest goes on. They will still continue the protest.
But why the protest now?
Well, that's what I was kind of starting to explain earlier.
Because 18 is adult.
But while you, myself, and Eric agree, we're all in agreement that this is about the children. There are other people out there who don't believe this type of show should go on at all. Now, I'm not one of those people. I think adults should be able to do whatever adults want to do. Yeah. If adults want to go to a drag show, have at it. You're an adult. You can make those decisions for yourself. But there's a lot of people, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners, they don't want the show to go on at all. And I understand that point of view too, because they say it's not Christian. It still has some graphic scenes, some sexual content that just shouldn't be out there. So I while I'm not on that bandwagon, I understand their point as well.
And once again, just reminding people, I just looked down. It started, we decided to cover this story early yesterday in our 8 o'clock hour. Then people jumped on, which was great and fantastic. We never claimed that we were the only.
Absolutely not.
The story started here, and that's what it should be. Everybody should be in unison.
Absolutely.
And talk about the stories that, guess what, don't get talked about on local TV stations or national TV stations all the time. That's what we can do here, and we can do it in this format, which is this is what broadcasting is moving to. This is the new thing. This is the new revolution. It's the new evolution of getting the word out, of doing broadcasting, giving commentary, doing journalism, and doing the best you can to put the right information out there.
And that's you're right, Vic, and that maybe this is how the revolution is won. Because this was a coordinated effort, not just us, but multiple people in the area came out, called Chesterfield. They called Chesterfield the mayor. They called the police department. It was a coordinated effort amongst many groups, not just us. We might have got the ball rolling yesterday morning, and our listeners may have been the first people to call the mayor and the city. But outside of that, it was definitely a coordinated effort. But maybe that's how the revolution is won, one little victory at a time.
And this is Cancel This, by the way. It's canceltheshow.com. You can check out our show from yesterday, too. We're a podcast, so we save that original content as well. We have all kinds of topics that we get into, really, really good conversations, all in an effort to try to help society, entertain, educate, and bring what we can to the table. Another interesting comment. Joe Patterson says, sometimes people need protection from themselves.
They do. I agree. And I know that's a slippery slope. But
it's a very slippery slope, but what a comment. That's
and
profound.
We talked about that yesterday when it comes to parental rights. How far should a parent be allowed to go when it comes to allowing their children to do certain things?
Man.
That's a whole conversation in itself, isn't it?
Especially after hearing the parents speak yesterday about what they were trying to do.
Yes.
And, yeah, this is fine. This is great. Of course I can do this. It is, it's I use that word profound, what Joe said. It's just so satisfying to see people go out and do things and utilize being polite, persistent. I always says be polite, be persistent, be polite, be persistent in trying to get things done in what you do.
And people, that goes to show people do sometimes have a voice. And you know what? If you don't make that call, if you don't reach out, and to all the folks who sent all the information to us, had that not happened, we wouldn't have even known about it.
No.
It does take a community
and
to
once
get
again,
these
the
things
video
going.
put us over. The
Yes,
video
it did.
put us over. You can check out our podcast from yesterday if you wanted to see the video in our 8 o'clock hour from yesterday, where you can check everything out to see what's going on. Also, we're going to continue to talk about this, couple of housekeeping notes. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell. That will help notify you whenever we're on. Subscribe and hit the bell. Of course, follow us on Facebook. If you're watching on Rumble, follow us there too. Do the same thing, all of our platforms. Continue to share the show. Tabitha already brought it up today. Let people know about what we're doing. This just doesn't have to be a local show. We're trying to shoot national. That's where our topics, they can go national. The story that happened in Chesterfield, that's a national story that happened local. With that being said, after you follow us, after you share the show, after you jump in, you can also RSVP to the party rundown. We're close. Talking about our kickoff party. We're close to that party Thursday night. But if there's snow accumulation, and I know I've seen all of the memes out there, yeah, we're supposed to get between 1 and 78 inches of snow. If we have any snow, we're going to have to postpone the party. Maybe to the following week while it's still kind of on the holiday season checklist. That would be the 29th, although I haven't talked to our friends over at Winty's about that yet. So with that being said, snow is going to determine that as we get closer. We're all trying to figure out where we are, what we're doing.
And the weather continues to update.
Yeah, I know.
I've been following it very
closely for 25 years.
Well,
and it's.
Have you read the great one said? Be the great one being Dave Murray.
Well, yeah. What did he say?
Now, Dave Murray states that the winter weather begins on Wednesday at 3:28 p.m.
What does that mean? It begins.
And he went on to say that we're going to have a little mix on Wednesday evening of wet snow and rain, and then Thursday morning wet snow and rain, but still above freezing. And then as we move into Thursday evening, we're going to have accumulating snow. He's not willing to give out an amount until Wednesday. He said, we will not know how much snow is going to accumulate until the storm passes over the Rockies. So we don't know.
And we don't know. But we still may not get accumulation.
No, he said there will be accumulation on Thursday, for sure.
On Thursday day?
On Thursday
or
afternoon.
Thursday night.
Leading into the evening.
Okay.
There will be an accumulation. But he said the bigger story outside of the accumulation is the dangerously cold temperatures moving into a negative 25 to 30 degrees.
Yeah, I did see that
which is unbelievable.
Yeah, the temperatures will be cold. That's throughout the Midwest, depending upon where you might be living. But it is cold in other places as well. So follow us. Stay tuned. We'll probably give an update by tomorrow. I was hoping to find out what Dave would say. And gosh, you'd hope you'd know at least the day before, early in the day.
Well, you know what? And he explained it wonderfully that when the storm system hits the Rockies, everything can change. It can break up, it can get stronger. So until that storm comes up over the Rockies, we will not know.
I do give meteorologists the benefit of the doubt, especially in the St. Louis area after being in the market for a long time and seeing how difficult it is to predict weather in the St. Louis area. It's one of the most difficult places. Dave Murray talked about that when he wanted to come back and do weather here. So, yeah, we'll keep everybody posted on that regarding the party for Thursday night, the kickoff party that was scheduled for 7 p.m. at Wenty's. Stay tuned. We'll see what we can get done. And, of course, keep you updated from that standpoint. If you still want to talk about what happened with the drag show going to an 18-plus at the factory in the St. Louis area, you're more than welcome. We have several other stories that are coming up also. 8:05, we talked with LaJoy Dabney about her business and overcoming what she said was systemic racism, but still not feeling sorry for herself and why nobody has an excuse to not be successful in life. Another massive, massive topic that came out yesterday. And if you don't think your voice is important, like we were talking about with the drag show being held at the factory and trying to change it, how does this make you feel? Does this piss you off? Stanford University, the esteemed Stanford University. Eric, good morning. You've heard of Stanford University, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's considered to be an institution of higher learning, right?
Okay.
Allegedly. Beautiful campus, Northern California.
Yeah, beautiful area.
Well, Stanford University has now put out guidelines for their students to, quote, eliminate harmful language. They're directing all U.S. citizens and their students to not use the word American.
Not surprising.
Stanford University telling people you should not use the word American.
Well, they did that in the soccer game. I know that you don't. I don't know what the
happened?
reason. The coach did not have. You remember we had these nice shirts up back in the day. It said America or USA. Well, his said states.
Yeah, we talked about that.
His says it's beginning. You just notice everything. Everything is a beginning to something else. So when you see the word states from a Nike shirt in the World Cup, you know that's.
I
not
didn't like it when I first saw it.
On a black shirt,
but guess
not
what?
red, white, and blue.
It was on to the first time I saw it, though, Eric, was about a year and a half ago.
Did you really?
Yes, that was part of their branding.
Maybe one of the biggest sporting events on the planet since the 1980 Olympics, and our coach is wearing a black states shirt.
Well, of course, because the word America is now synonymous with being racist and with being a terrorist and all sorts of other things.
Well, what is the reason?
But
What is
Stanford.
Yeah, but what was the
Stanford is so incredibly
I know,
liberal.
but Stanford gets. You guys know what I'm talking about. Stanford University is considered to be this awesome institution.
I don't consider it that at all.
On a
Not at all.
national scale, it is.
Whatever. So it's.
I'm just telling you it is.
So is Harvard. So
it's
is all
very
the.
difficult to get in there. They have incredible sports.
Not if you want to make something of yourself.
Well, I know. I'm just.
I mean, I guess no. I take that
or
back.
at least it always has
It's
been.
an esteemed university, no question.
take
about
it
it.
back.
Tiger Woods University.
I take it back. If you are one of the few to get into Stanford and you're going there for law, your law degree or engineering or whatever, there is a bunch of woke companies that would love to have your pedigree on their side. So I take it back. You can make it, but you're definitely not going to be free voiced like we are. You will definitely go out in the world and you will espouse the liberal doctrine that is put on top of you. So that's what I'm talking about with these higher institutions of learning. They're kind of frustrating now because, first of all, not anyone's accepted into them. Stanford is now telling everybody, the entire world, hey, you're a U.S. citizen. What is it? Isn't that what it is? You're not an American
You're not
anymore.
an American.
Because that is a term that we don't use anymore because it's racist.
All it takes is one university and I know you're dogging Stanford. I'm just telling you, Stanford has a lot of national clout, guys.
Sure they do.
Oh, of course they do.
They
Yeah.
do.
So is Harvard. So is Yale. So does
And
Look at
Princeton.
Washington University. Remember me talking about those two students I met, 21 years old,
When are we gonna have
that
them
attend
on?
Wash University?
You gotta set
I
that
haven't
up.
I haven't heard back from them, but they go to Wash U. And you know what they told me? Even though they are diehard conservatives, they know the way to pass classes is to pretend to be liberal.
No, yeah, that's well. Did you hear about Washington? Same topic. So Washington University, a professor gets up there at the lectern and says, "We will participate in racism in medical situations from now on. We will make race a determining factor in who we treat." Did you hear about this?
No. When
This
was
is Washington University. It's online. It's like it's these woke professors, very smart professors.
Another super liberal school, which is largely Asian these days. By the way.
Okay, but they're coming up and saying, you know what? People are people. They're going to come into your emergency rooms. They're going to come into your offices. But what you need to start doing is start to have equity in the people that you see, equity in the people that you prescribe to, equity. And she goes, this is non-negotiable, by the way. And I was like fascinated. And it's online, and you can go search it for yourself. Professor at Washington University, race, equity,
and
the whole
this
nine
is
yards. Not if someone's in pain.
Was this done on a local news channel?
This was.
I don't think if it was,
I'll have to find out.
it should be.
Okay, yeah,
And since they won't do it, national news doesn't do it. That's what we do.
yeah. It'd be great to see 4, 2, and 5 here in St. Louis
I'll check it
do
out
something
during
with
our
this.
break, too,
Okay,
to see what we can
fantastic.
find out.
Yeah, she's got a full PowerPoint presentation.
WashU is very liberal. Those guys I met, they said they were 2 in a group of 6 of conservatives. They knew no other conservatives at the entire school.
Well, I know a football coach at Washington University, and I asked him because my son wasn't going to play Power Division I football with a shot at playing pro, so he's looking for a great academic school to go along with this football as well.
That'll work.
And so we looked into WashU because he's a terrific student. And I was told by my friend at that university, he has no shot here. I said, what do you mean?
Ooh.
He's like, Vicky's white. Now, these are legitimate. No, I'm just telling, these are legitimate conversations that need to take place. And I said, really? He's like, Vic, WashU has changed. And he's like, it is what it is. And I said, if he had a 30 on his ACT instead of the score that he has, would it matter? He's like, no. And I'm like, interesting. So with that being said,
Wow.
this was coming from a coach. And clearly I can't say his name. But when we're talking about what's happening on college campuses too, when it comes to an American, it's a reality.
Yeah.
And I trust him. So people can maybe say and be the devil's advocate, oh, well, maybe that's just your friend trying to say, no, it's not just my son, it's others.
And you
as well.
can't even do you can't send an Elliot Davis to do the due diligence.
Well, he wouldn't
You
do it
can't.
anyway. He
Well, I'm-
stopped doing those stories.
Even if he was not a coward to do those kind of stories anymore, which by the way, the reason I always bring up an Elliot Davis is he always seemed like he was kind of fearless.
He was.
He always seemed to me like he was like, I don't give a damn what if WashU is not letting white kids in, I'm down there. I'll be there in 30 minutes. And I always felt like
But no,
that.
but
And I
let's
wasn't
make sure-
even
I don't want to take it to, I was just from an academic and athletic standpoint.
It doesn't matter. You had a race relations conversation with a higher education learner, one of only a few in the St. Louis area, by the way, and you are now ixed from that.
Well, from the Facebook line, that's true, Vic. My daughter applied at law school there and had to end up going to SLU. And SLU's a great law school, by the way. Some of the best attorneys in the St. Louis area went to SLU, like Scott Rosenblum, sponsor of the show, and Travis Noble, because she's white.
and
She
that
said
comes
she
back
had to go there because she's white.
that goes back to the systemic racism. You know, I hear people say, and I know we're going to have a guest today that's going to talk about systemic racism. What I don't understand this day and time, the people who are the most oppressed it literally is the white man. And so it's so confusing to me because if you are a white man, you have a very difficult time getting into some of the best colleges. You have a very difficult time getting loans or other types of credit because it all goes to minorities first.
And I'm just speaking from the experience that we had when it came to that specific school. We never applied, to be fair. We never tried. I'm just telling you.
well, try.
We're,
You said, what do you have? You're
but
out
the coach,
nothing.
No, but the coaches have to be interested in you because when it comes to that sort of school, they don't do scholarships, but there is money that comes off that you can get off, and you want to make sure you're coming to a place where they accept you. The coaches have to accept you because they only have so many spots.
I don't even know how to respond to that.
I know
That's-
because you don't.
I
You
know.
would never thought that we'd ever get to
Yeah,
this point.
Yeah.
But we are at that point with a lot of other areas as well. And I'm trying to keep it specifically to.
Man, it's like a lot of the things that should be blind. Law and justice should be blind. That veil over the scales of justice, that should be blind. Getting into a higher education, that should be blind.
In this country, everything is minority first. If there's a social welfare program, it's minorities first.
Yeah.
Colleges, minorities first. Many companies have to hire minorities first. Banks are giving minorities loans
Hope you're
without
wrong.
even having to show that they can pay the loan back. You know, all of this is taking place in our country. And I think the tables have turned where I know at one time there was systemic racism. I know prejudice still exists. I have a hard time believing that minorities are as oppressed as what they once were.
I do know that a lot of government, and this is just to kind of put this on the record, a lot of government institutions, no matter how good you are as a vendor to government institutions, whether you're providing food truck services, electrical, AV gear, whatever it is, there is this thing called an RFP, a request for proposal. And if you want to be one of the vendors and you want to participate in that, okay, here's some of the things. You have to be a veteran. You get higher points for being a veteran company. You get higher points if you are a female-owned business, right? So here you are. Let's say you're a white plumbing company. You want to be a vendor to some hospital that's government funded. If you're not a veteran company, a female-owned company, a minority-owned company, these are all check boxes that go against you. So you can't get that job. You can't get that gig.
Well, and this whole conversation started about un-American with Stanford. And
all of this stuff we're talking about is un-American.
No, it is. And I do get that. I do. 100%. I'm just looking at what's happening, my college experience that I had at the University of Missouri, compared to what I see now, compared to what my daughter has at the University of Missouri.
Oh, yeah. If you
compared to what's going on at Stanford University. It made me sick when I saw that, which branched off into the states. The word that was not, yeah, my voice all of a sudden went a little.
You know what?
cray.
I got it.
Yeah.
So it's. Thank you.
But the word that we were missing on that shirt is united. It was. It didn't even have to be America. If it wasn't going to say America,
was it the states?
It just said states.
Yeah.
The word that was missing was united. Think about that. As if we're not united. And maybe we're not. Yeah. But to promote it, and we're just like states. Yeah. It's cool. It's hip. States.
Well,
we're not united.
It's
states.
yet another thing that will become fashionable. It will become on TikTok. It will become the younger generation will pick up this football. They will run with it. That will be, you will see this in Kohl's. You will see shirts that say states in Kohl's and at Foot Locker, and all of a sudden Tabitha Hassel will be wearing a states shirt.
No, she won't.
That'll never happen.
That would never happen. I would never wear a state shirt. That's it. Never. Ever.
And we can't let that happen.
Ever.
We are in control of that.
I'm starting
happen.
to see a pattern of how this all works. It gets okay. What happens is the liberals kind of just throw this thing into the mix, like a mixing bowl. And you know when you put food this very, 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 very small amount of food coloring into a glass, and then you're like, oh, this isn't going to do much. It's just a really small. Then you mix it up. The water becomes whatever color it is that you put in there, right? That's what is happening.
We can fight that.
I don't know that you can.
We won a victory yesterday.
I don't know that
Eric.
you can.
Feel empowered. We won a victory yesterday, and we can continue to win victories. That's how the revolution will be. If we want a revolution to be nonviolent, that's how it needs to be won. Small victories.
And what is
trust
that?
me, we can have small victories.
How is that? Because like I said, that analogy works pretty damn good. It's the analogy works pretty good. It's the food coloring of this country. It's like you don't protect it. It's like a Stanford, whatever this guy is doing. He just threw this thing out there, right? We're talking about it. The Stanford professor, whoever said that.
Oh, no, it's the university.
Okay, the university says.
They put out a guideline, not only for their students, but for, quote, U.S. citizens to never use the word Americans.
Because it shows whatever. It shows negative
they
connotation.
call it, quote, harmful language.
Yeah.
And that's ridiculous. We have
to strip our country. There are so many people. We've had some people call in on the show and message. that this country's never been good. Okay.
I know that's ridiculous.
I mean, even Ty, our friend Ty Dennis says, and I love Ty, said this country's never been great.
Well,
I'm like,
he's
okay.
wrong
Well,
on that issue.
There are people who want to strip down everything that this country was about and make it how they want it, not looking at the good that we've had.
Yeah.
And you can rip America all you want. You can try to take away the red, white, and blue. You can try to say America should not be said, American should not be said. But then you start looking around the world and then start talking about that situation. And I'm not saying that we're great now, but because a lot of bad things are going to take us away from who we are, how we became what we are. But my gosh,
We fight back.
Compare us around the world. And if you don't like it in America, bye-bye.
Going to Florida.
That's not America anymore, is it?
It just seems like the country is completely isolating itself from you are either a liberal state or you're not a liberal state.
Just fight back. Eric, fight back.
But states don't become conservative. Did you ever notice that? If you lose in Nebraska, it never goes back to being a conservative state or whatever. That's why
called cheating.
I don't know what it's called. It's always a one-way thing with liberalism. Liberal states stay liberal. You know why it is? Because people, if someone gives me a free $100 a month and I become attached to that, and it's one party or the other that's giving me that $100 a month, I'm never voting for the guy that's going to take the $100 a month away from me. Why would I do that? That seems counterproductive.
I agree. It is, but there are ways we can fight back. You know what? When I go to the stores, guess what I do? I use cash. That's a way to fight back against digital currency. If a store says, hey, I don't take cash, guess what? I don't shop there. If Kohl's starts carrying shirts that say states and not United States of America, guess what? I'm not going to shop there.
It's coming.
And you know what? There's more of us than there are of them. And we have to start feeling empowered. We have to start telling ourselves and coming on this show and telling all of our listeners to share the show and tell people that we are the majority. We have to start empowering ourselves and our community because there are more of us than there are of them. Yeah. We can fight back.
Eric, you may not think that we have a big voice here with Cancel This, but we do.
Why do you say that?
Okay, I'm sorry. I was thinking.
Yes, we do. Hell yeah.
Because sometimes you're like, well, it's already, the train's on the track. There's not a lot we can do. I do think we can. You can have some wins, some small wins, even if they're small, but you got to start talking about it. You got to get enough people not to be afraid and be uncomfortable with speaking how they really feel. Since we started this live podcast Monday through Friday, 7 to 10, countless people have contacted me privately, come up to me publicly, and said, so grateful we finally have something like this that we can watch, where you have an educated panel and people with real-life experiences, especially in media. And all of us have dealt with media for a long time, where we're able to actually expose things. We're talking about things in a professional manner, a mature manner, but we're going to be persistent. We'll be polite, but we're going to come strong and we're going to speak truth.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to do. And the voices can be heard, Eric.
Yeah. I mean, I always, when you listen to this show, I mean, one of the things is I never want to cap on anything that I'm not, that I don't know what I'm talking about. But I got $100 bill in my pocket. If you can come on the show and tell me, give me one liberal city that you think is doing really good. And I'm not talking about the elite Martha's Vineyard type of cities. I'm talking about urban areas that you think are doing exceptionally well. There's none right now. And if you start to get that politic into your system, St. Louis, Philadelphia, Los Angeles, you're going downhill.
Well, you get a chance to talk with LaJoy in just a little bit. She grew up in Indianapolis with not much, and now she is making her way in the city and doing a phenomenal job.
No, but she's a paradox because...
And I promise you I'm going to get you some of her coffee.
Yes. I can't wait.
I went down to her shop. I visited it right near the airport. I was like, damn, this is some good coffee.
Yeah.
I was just lazy. I needed it in the Keurig cup.
Yeah. I wonder if rich people that have like the multi-millions of dollars that became successful on their businesses, I wonder if they kind of want this divide in the country. Because they're like, the less people that do what I'm doing, the less people that are making a fortune being an entrepreneur, the longer I can do this and hold on to my market
Who
share.
wants the divide? Who are you saying wants the divide?
I'm wondering if like the wealthy entrepreneurs of this country.
Well, I mean, no one wants competition.
That's why they're letting the
We've noticed that already. Cancel this.
They're letting the borders open. They're like, this is free labor.
Well, those are
Look at
voters.
it's voters.
Those aren't free laborers. Those
it's
are
voters. It's free labor. It's cheap labor. I can run my companies off of this stuff. I always wondered the dynamics behind all of this, and I don't know. And I'm trying to get to the bottom of a lot of this stuff. And I'm afraid that it's going to be 20 years after we're talking about this is when we're going to figure it out.
Kevin
I don't
says-
think that conservative is. I do not think the United States is going to be the same country as it was when
At some point, it's going to be better. We just have to work very hard
So,
to make that
whoa,
happen.
You do think it's going to be
Well, it's
better?
going to
the
get a lot
optimism
worse.
showing through with
no,
Tabitha.
No.
Love it.
It's going to get a lot worse before it gets better.
Yes.
At some point, we're going to hit rock bottom. We're not there yet. We're not even close to there yet.
Oh,
and
wonderful.
once we hit rock bottom, we are going to unite and we are going to rise up and things are going to change. We're not there yet.
There's going to be a civil war before that happens.
Yes, there
Tabitha.
is.
Okay, well, you
That's the rock
You forgot to
bottom.
say those massive two words.
I said rock bottom.
Yeah, but you did not say civil war.
There's no one. First
Rock
of
bottom
all,
is much different than. So you do believe it's
I
the Civil War?
don't. I don't subscribe to your Civil War theory at all. Just because you're that pissed off doesn't mean everybody is.
Maybe
that pissed
you
off.
should be. That's the problem.
Why?
Maybe you should be.
Why?
That's exactly the problem.
Why?
Eric. Is that there are so many people who feel just like you do, and they need to be mad. When are you going to have had enough of all this stuff?
I'm telling
we come
you,
in here
man,
and talk about all this stuff
if-
every day.
if-
When are you going to have had enough?
Because
to where you're angry.
Because you agreed.
I wanna see
Hold
you
on.
angry.
You agreed with me yesterday.
We agree on a lot of
You
topics.
you told me you agreed with the fact that every generation has the right, the God-given right to make this country however they see
I didn't
fit.
say- I didn't
You
agree to
sure
that.
did. Well, then Vic did. One of the
It
two.
wasn't me.
One of the two of you guys did that.
we have to fight for
don't-
everything we have in this country.
When a generation, whatever this next generation wants to do with this country it's completely up to them. That's kind of the meaning of democracy.
I don't agree with that at all.
So you don't think they have the right to build this country
No,
how they want?
I think that a lot of them are stupid and they have no right to build anything.
Here we go.
No.
That's Tabitha Hassel for you, ladies and gentlemen.
Now we're getting real. This is Cancel This. For if you're just jumping in, cancelthisshow.com. Once again, cancelthisshow.com. If you have stories, things that you want us to cover, anybody been canceled for speaking out, doing whatever it is, let us know, and we'll certainly get to that. By the way, Glenn says, basically, what'd you think about 2,000 Mules? Eric and I have not watched it yet. We'll get into the whole
Come
election.
on.
The whole election fraud. We're busy.
You shouldn't even
I've been
be
slammed.
allowed a
I'm
microphone
taking care of
if you haven't seen
technical
it.
things all day, putting in 13
I know.
hours.
You are
here.
very
Well,
you're
here's
both
By
one
the
thing-
way, we sound amazing now, and we look good. Thank you, Scotty Gherkin.
Here's one thing I will say, not to switch the subject. Now, I do believe that the younger generation has the right to build up whatever they want. However, this whole FBI thing, this whole shadiness of our government getting involved with the messaging going on, like all the stuff coming off on Twitter, that is concerning. When the government gets involved in democracy, and
Young
kind
people
of,
don't care about that.
do they not care
Most
about
don't.
that?
No.
Really?
Most don't even
Until
care.
it happens
They
to
don't
them.
know. It's not even a big deal to them. They've accepted that
Not
as just
35 and
part
under.
of the country.
Eric,
What does
I know
that
it's
mean?
a generalization. 35 and under, they don't care.
They don't. They're too. They don't understand what real freedom is.
Well, it is interesting because they don't care this comment. And Scotty, when you get set up, let us know if and when it's possible to run that soundbite with Karine Jean-Pierre, our White House press secretary, who is the worst press secretary I think we've ever had when it comes to being prepared at the podium.
That
Because-
binder's got to go. She's got to be able to answer questions without looking at that binder.
Well, no, we've had several.
No, I'm serious. It's
Kayleigh
like,
McNamara used the binder.
yeah, but she was also able to push that thing to the side. She cannot do it. She is literally talking Democratic points, and it is those press conferences are ridiculous.
Well, we used to get answers from the White House. Now we don't. We don't get any answers from the White House. I mean, the previous three presidents would at least speak and hold press conferences and not be hidden, and we didn't have to worry about those types of things. Now we're in a situation where you have the FBI, and it's not just some theory. It actually happened. We talked about it yesterday, of course, the FBI flagging your tweets. The FBI, which is why we've become state-run media, which is what Tabitha said. You don't really have a lot of the freedom, at least with the press.
You have no freedom.
I said this before. It wasn't as if you were told what to say, but you were told what you could not say.
Right.
And when we get the sound, this is just a quick soundbite, but it shows you what's actually happening. And you just go ahead and nod to me, Scott, when you get a chance, when you feel like you're comfortable to pop that up. But it shows what's going on. And I do believe Tabitha's right. I do believe in some previous generations, people would listen and go, wait a second, don't we deserve an answer from the White House? And
well, she's a liar. Okay, first of all, I don't call people liars on purpose, but it's like she said on camera, 4K cameras, high definition, the border is not open. That is a damn lie.
Well, she said that yesterday.
They always say that.
You know what? That's what is most frustrating to me about her. How you literally just lied to us.
She has the worst job in the world. And then yesterday she was also asked about the White House having a comment now, and this is a liberal reporter from a liberal network asking her this question. Here's what happened yesterday.
The latest Twitter files showed that the intelligence community was actively involved in discrediting the Hunter Biden laptop story. Does it bother the president and those at the White House that a government agency like the FBI was involved in suppressing a legitimate news story?
Again, I'm just going to refer you to the FBI. I'm not going to comment from here about that.
Okay.
What? You are the leader of the FBI.
The FBI just was outed for flagging tweets, and then the whole suppression of the Hunter Biden story. And she gets asked about it all. She's like, "Yeah, we're not going to talk about it."
One of the most important United States citizen spying stories ever. You couldn't have written this. This is a novel.
And that's only a tiny piece of the pie, Eric.
Yes. John Grisham couldn't have done any better than this one. This is insane. And the White House doesn't want to take a stab at putting out the fire. It's like, I mean, do you ever wonder what the hell it is that you would say? You know what? It does seem like there were some FBI agents in a private company. You know, it seems like that's what they've been doing for many years. I could do a better job than her.
It's not just Twitter. I'm not going to say the names here because we'll get booted. It is not just Twitter. It is a proven fact that several social media platforms have former and current CIA agents and FBI agents working on their staff, and that those people do flag and provide, the comments about misinformation and so on. And it goes deeper than that.
Yeah.
If you're not subscribed to allowing the FBI and the CIA to run your social media platform for you, guess what happens? Look what happened to Parler. Parler was phenomenal. And guess what? Who cares about Parler
anymore? It just sounds like you're frustrated. That's all it sounds like to me.
I'm beyond frustrated.
So it's like,
we have no freedom in this country. Freedom is an illusion.
A problem I always have with this show, and not just this show, but all shows we're like a bunch of yappy little chihuahuas. It's like we have no bite.
Yes,
in,
we do.
in what we do.
We bit. Yes,
this is what I just talked about,
know,
Eric. We do have voices.
I would like to see so many Americans go, you know what? I voted for this clown, the guy that you got in the White House that has the dementia. I voted for him. But we got a problem here.
But you're not going to hear.
But that's the problem. That's what I'm trying to say.
It's a pride issue. And
it's a what?
It's a pride issue.
And no one really voted for him.
Who's got the pride? Oh, my God, Tabitha.
That's why you can't find anyone, because no one voted for him.
That's the best. That's the best theory I've heard yet, Tabitha.
Yeah.
Nobody really voted for Biden. No wonder people aren't saying, yeah, I made a mistake.
Just a bunch of bots.
Yeah. Okay.
We're going to take a break in like 2-3 minutes. There's one thing that you just brought it up, bots. There's now word leaking out. I don't know if it's true or not. Elon Musk doing what he did, saying that he would, quote, leave if people wanted him to.
Yes.
An attempt to weed out bots.
That was a good idea.
Explain.
I hadn't heard that.
I could totally see him wanting to leave
I love
Twitter.
that.
Wait a minute. Explain that. That's fascinating what you just said.
That he put the poll out to find out who the bots were, so that the bots would respond. He could eliminate. He could find the bots.
I love that.
This is an amazing story if it's true.
Yeah, it's better than the John Grisham that you were talking
about. Yes, it is.
As well. To eliminate the bots, to get them the F out of his platform.
What a great idea, to eliminate all the folks who wanted to vote him out. Just get rid of him.
Yeah.
That's what Zelensky does. Why not do it at Twitter?
I can't wait to break that down even more.
I feel like we have to meditate
Hey,
after
by
these
the way,
shows.
Eric, I don't think you were in studio when I said it, but the third week of January, we've got a Ukrainian member of parliament coming to
I cannot wait for that.
live in studio
Yeah.
to break down Zelensky,
Yeah.
who he is, what's really happening over there. And I think we're going to hear a lot of what Tabitha's been talking about and studying and preaching since this show started and before this show.
I hope so.
Oh, can't
Because
wait.
we owe people the truth.
Yeah, so I know that's another topic there, but we're gonna take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. If you do, come right back. We're gonna be talking with a new good friend of mine, LaJoy Dabney, and LaJoy is a super successful African American businesswoman who's overcome all the odds to be where she is now. She's gonna tell us how she feels society is when it comes to quote systemic racism, what it takes to be successful, and why nobody has an excuse not to really be successful. I know Eric's looking to ask her some questions. And by the way, we're going to promote her products. She's got a coffee tea product that is absolutely amazing.
I hope she brought some.
No, she's not here.
Oh, she's not.
She can send it by telepathy.
I hope she sends some via courier.
I told you I'm going to get you some.
Vic has some at home. He
I
just
went to her
chose
shop-
not to bring it.
No, I don't have any at home. And I don't make coffee. I need the damn cups. I probably
Come
never
on
even
now.
had coffee.
You don't know how to make
If it
coffee
wasn't-
outside of a pod?
No, I don't.
I don't either.
I don't.
That's hilarious.
All right, got to get out of here. Back with more canceltheshow.com right after this. And welcome back to Cancel This, everybody. Happy Tuesday. December 20th is the date, 2022, as we get ready to call it a year. Christmas vacation on the way. Happy Hanukkah, by the way, to our friends who are celebrating Hanukkah. Eric Johnson's here. Tabitha Hassel and Vic Faust.
Yeah.
Scotty Gherkin on the boards. Scott and I were messing with that music yesterday. You like it, Eric?
I don't hate it.
I'm surprised because that's more Scott and I's type of music, not yours.
Well, you know what?
That
I'm
doesn't
not
He
having
said
this.
he doesn't hate it.
I'm not going to have this
drums.
conversation with you at this moment.
Just for giggles, you got to hear this one. You got to
Okay,
really
let's hear
pay
it.
attention to this.
rock it.
It starts a little slow, but it
Yeah.
kicks you right in the,
All I hear right now is lasers and smoke machines.
That's
That's all
right.
I hear.
Do you approve, Eric?
I do. Why can't they make my bass guitar sound like that on stage?
We liked it. We
I
found
know.
it. We found it.
This is Cancel This, cancelthisshow.com. You could go there for our original content. Our podcasts are saved daily. We're here live Monday through Friday, 7 to 10 a.m. Central, bringing you the best news headlines, politics, society, and culture, cancel culture at its finest. Also bringing you the best interviews we can. And I invited my new friend, LaJoy Dabney, onto the show because she blew me away when I met her recently regarding the success that she's had in her business, some of the experiences that she's had in her life. She refused to be canceled at several junctures, in regards to how she grew up.
I love it.
Yeah, Eric, come on. It's not easy being a black woman trying to be successful in business all the time. I mean, there's a lot of factors that go against you. But at the same point in time, I had a chance to meet her. I went and checked out her LaJoy's Coffee Cafe. She's got amazing coffee. It's a combo of coffee and tea. I didn't need to make it a milkshake for it to taste good. And she's just a great lady. LaJoy, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. How are you?
We're doing well. Hey, first of all, I've been promoting you for a while now. Tell everybody what you've got going on with your businesses. Start with your coffee because I love your coffee.
Oh, thanks. Well, it's LaJoy's Coffee Cafe. I have my own brand of 3 flavors of coffee. And you wouldn't believe that I never drink coffee in my life.
What?
No.
What?
I really still don't drink coffee. No.
I was saving that, Eric. She told me that last week. I'm like, what?
LaJoy, I want to know more about this coffee because I'm a new coffee drinker and I have to put a ton of cream in it. I want to know how your coffee works.
So basically, I went to a major training because I said, okay, I'm going to have coffee, but coffee I do not like. But I enjoy tea. And when I put coffee and tea together with different blends from different countries, it took me like 6 months to get the right blend for myself, where I could just sit here and drink it without cream or sugar.
It's Eric. I promise you, I'm going to go buy some and bring it to you.
So, yeah, I mean, you know what's so I'm a coffee drinker, can you tell? I use it for medicinal purposes just to wake up in the morning. I don't love the way coffee tastes, by the way, but I did about 20 years ago discover Starbucks. If you can do something better than Starbucks without all the milkshake stuff like you talk about, I'm over there every morning. I will come every morning. Can you send some of that over here so I can try it?
You'll buy it. You won't go to her shop. She's near the airport.
I'll go there. Are you kidding me? Heck yeah, I will. Can you send some over to the studio and then I will sing your praises every morning and I'll get addicted like I'm addicted to this stuff?
Yeah, because Starbucks is not good for you.
No, it's not. It's not. You're right.
Hey, LaJoy, where can people get your coffee? Because you told me you're doing great at the airport right now. I know that.
So basically, you can get my coffee online. I can mail it to you, or you can come in and buy it. We're in the process of trying to get in Snook.
Okay, what's the best? Is there a website that people can go to? Is there a good way to order it?
Yes, it's LaJoy's Coffee Cafe, www.lajoyscoffeecafe.com. And I also have my own app, so you can also download my app and order it. Then I go right to the post office and mail it to you. I don't even charge people.
I love it.
Wow. Now, you've been super successful with the coffee shop. You also have another business. Tell us what it's taken and what you've done in regards to get to the point that you're at from the success, because you told me it hasn't been easy, that's for sure.
No, it hasn't been easy. I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana, moved here. I worked at AT&T and Anheuser-Busch. I went to school. I have 3 masters and a bachelor's. As doing that work at AT&T, I'm not good with working under people. I'm just going to be honest. The authority, the black collar, that doesn't work for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to figure out a way to be successful and do something I enjoy. So the first business I opened was LaJoy's Mother Hands Healthcare. That's where I take people to see I'm sorry, they go to dialysis, but we also send people to their home to take care of them. So in the process of doing that, I noticed a lot of people was on dialysis. I'm like, well, I might as well get some of that money too.
Yes. Yes.
So I went and bought 2 vehicles. You got a Lincoln, an old school Lincoln, and a used wheelchair vehicle. I said, I'm gonna try to make it work. Well, it didn't cost me money. I got a state contract, which I had to write up. And I started taking people to dialysis and doctor's appointments. And I've got a fleet of 12 vehicles with workers. And that's very successful. So I merged those together. And then I decided in the pandemic, with so many people so stressed out, I need in my area where I live at, in Overland, in Sycamore Hills, I see a lot of people walking dogs and there's no coffee around. I said, well, hey, I'm open a coffee shop. Clueless as a box of rocks. Didn't know nothing about barista, nothing. So, and I decided to go for it, open in the pandemic.
Yep.
I just went out on a limb.
Yep. I mean, it's the typical American dream story. I mean, I'm so impressed with you, and basically you saw an opportunity where there were voids in the market. You, like you said, you wanted some of that money, and basically you just did it. It sounds like everybody loves coffee. You worked your way into being a successful entrepreneur, and I don't. There's absolutely no downside to your story at all. I mean, basically, I guess the conversation that we would like to bring up with you is we see a lot of challenges in St. Louis. A lot of people in St. Louis or down this city seems to be dilapidated. Your story seems like the one that would fix it. Do you not agree with that?
I agree totally with that. Whatever you focus on and dream for, should nobody interfere with that. That's just how I live.
Well, you seem like you would be a mentor or a coach, or you would be a big voice in St. Louis, Missouri. You are a local success story, and this isn't the end of your success. I can see what come out to Wentzville. You will make a fortune in Wentzville opening a coffee shop. I'm serious.
She can expand there.
Expand us, but we always talk about on this show, and we are always wanting to spotlight people of success, and then get their point of view of how it kind of interacts with what you're doing, entrepreneurial versus where you live, and how we fix these problems.
Yes, that's true. I mean, it hasn't been very easy for me because I am an African American woman, trust me. So I went over a lot of hurdles dealing with other race, trying to accept me for who I am, because I'm very humble. I look like the everyday person. So I get judged a lot when I go to places trying to either purchase something or talk about something. You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
Hey, LaJoy, what are some of the specific obstacles as a Black businesswoman that you had to overcome? I'm a female, I own a company, but I'm white, and I know that's a different story.
Totally different. Totally. So even with opening a coffee shop, trying to go through the St. Louis County, and people trying to come and try to go behind you and purchase the building and open. It seemed like every little nitpick on everything. How can you afford this? Because I'm like, no, I didn't get a loan. I paid for this out of my pocket. So you deal with a lot of that when you're African American female, because of course, like you said, you're a white female, so it's easier for you. You may not think that, but trust me. It is.
I'm so glad you're here to say that, because that's one of my big questions for you. We just talked about this early this morning. I don't know if you were listening to the show.
I was.
We, as white people, we are told that minorities get loans first, that minorities can get loans without even having to prove right now they can pay them back. Is that true?
I don't know where that loan is. If
we
that's
all
the
like
case,
to know,
I need to go there right now. I mean, you can get loans. Only loan they're giving really a lot to minorities is SBA because of the pandemic, the PPL, but of course so many fraudulent, and of course it was more of African American people. We all know that. But if there's not loans like that, even to buying my house was the worst obstacle I experienced. Even in Chesterfield, trying to go look at a house. They took me through the ringer, paperwork, everything, just because I was a Black female coming out.
And you felt like it was different than what the average person, or from experiences that you talked with other people who weren't black, were, right?
That is correct.
You and I were talking when we first met, and I found it interesting because this is a great topic to talk about, and you and I agreed you got to talk about things before anybody can maybe understand somebody else or not. Eric believes there's no such thing as systemic racism. I believe there is. I think you believe there is, and that was one of the reasons why I wanted you to talk, because you are somebody who's successful. You have gone through those things. You did tell me about a major purchase you were trying to make, and people walked by you because they didn't think you had the money to do it. And I think it's important to share some of those experiences and what you see from somebody who has succeeded and come out of nothing.
Yes, that's happened to me twice. I'm not going to say which Lexus dealership, but one of them.
One of two.
Put it like that. They probably know if they hear this. I went in there, jogging pants on t-shirt, 2016, never forget. Was in there for 25 minutes. I could tell where everybody was sitting at. Everything, people was coming in after me. They was helping them. Nobody said one word. I said, okay. I walked around. I walked out. I called a phone number and said, oh, didn't nobody help me. The people on the phone there said, oh, that's untrue, because you never was in the store. But see, you got to watch who you're speaking to, because I'm very smart. I recorded everything and they didn't even know I was recording them.
Boom.
Then when I went back to this Lexus, let me tell you how easy it was. Do you know, after I said that and they got the manager, I walked out of there with a brand new car. They barely checked anything to keep me quiet.
Wow.
That's a true story.
Yeah. Are things changing? Do you think that the society we're living in now is starting to moderate and change, or do you think it's just getting worse or staying the same? What do you think?
It all depends on where you're going to do, but it's staying the same to me.
What about upbringing, LaJoy? Talking with LaJoy Dabney, a successful business owner. You didn't come from much, but you.
No, I was raised by my grandmother, single lady. I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana. Went to a regular school, worked through high school. My grandma owned a not home health, like caretaker, where she would go and clean homes for the rich people.
Yeah.
So I would go to a whole lot of their houses, trust
Well,
me.
she was an entrepreneur too then.
Yes, but it wasn't money like you think, though.
Right.
Okay, it was the keeping food. You know, I wasn't poor, but I didn't come from a silver spoon.
Right.
So what advice do you have for people when it comes to maybe there being systemic racism, because you say you see things, and where if you can explain, hey, yeah, this is what it is, but you told me nothing should ever stop anybody.
Yeah, I feel that a lot of people make excuses in life, because I'm African or I'm a foreigner. All that doesn't even matter. Because if you go for it and you're determined and you don't let no door shut on you, you're going to be successful.
Amen. I'm telling you what. So everybody has an opinion in St. Louis. It is a very dilapidated city, and there are people in this studio and outside that want to fix St. Louis. We all think that we have an opinion. You are in a driver's position right now. What advice would you give to Shara, to whoever you think is leading this city? What advice would you give to them right now? What do we have to do to turn this place around and make it an inviting, safe place to live?
Well, I think, I see them trying to get out and talk more to individuals, but they go into like the deep poor. They need to go to the middle class, whether it's Caucasian, African American, and really have a sit down table and ask these people, what is really going on? How do you feel? Because just because you vote an African American in doesn't always mean they're for African Americans.
Good point.
Honest.
Yes. Amen.
But I see them out. I see them doing this. I see certain things going on, but I don't really see a move that needs to be done for the St. Louis city.
Man, it's a shame.
There's a lot of opportunities out here that they can help individuals, just having a whole board with children, everything. But sometimes a lot of politics are so about themselves. They say what they want just to get in.
Yep.
But are they really doing for
Do you think that?
St.
Do you
Louis,
think?
the county, or whatever?
Do you think the St. Louis leadership is doing good right now?
Say that. I'm sorry.
Do you think the St. Louis leadership, or for that matter, St. Louis County, is doing a good job managing our area?
I think they're doing better than the city.
Yeah, St. Louis County is for sure.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Hey, LaJoy, if you could, hey, can we see a video of your shop? Can
Oh,
you
sure.
share it around
Let me
real
see
quick?
how to figure. I know I don't know how to work this phone. I got this high tech stuff. Hold on.
Hey, we love to keep things real. Oh, that's good.
awesome.
That's what we wanted to see. That right there, so that people can check out your coffee. I've had it. I loved it because it.
Wait a minute. Can you see?
Yeah,
Yeah, we loved
absolutely.
it. We can see the coffee shop. We love it. I'm glad you're having so much success at the airport.
Gooey
loves
butter
it.
Danish.
I know.
Oh, what? Come on, man.
LaJoy's been holding out on us.
I know.
She has more than this coffee tea.
Can we move this rig down there? Let's go.
She has a terrific shop.
what a nice
like
place.
kind of in the Overland area, right near the airport.
Oh.
That's why she became so successful too. She says she has a lot of people who come from the airport. They look up.
Beautiful.
And they walk-in traffic from the airport. You have a layover. They're looking for the best coffee.
Oh, that close.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's wild.
How far are you away from the airport, LaJoy?
7 to 8 minutes.
Okay.
So
I'm
a lot
in.
of people come in, they check it out. That's LaJoy's showing us her shop, what's important. And when I met her, we met and it hit it off. I respected her. You can start to talk, and that's what's like, man, we got to get you on Cancel This to talk about your experiences and not giving up and not being canceled in life. Anything you want to leave us with? Because I know you're a very inspirational person as well, LaJoy. You're real, but your business is surrounded by a lot of inspirational quotes as well.
Oh yeah, my favorite quote that I have up in the office says, "She was powerful, not because she wasn't scared, but because she went on to so strongly despite the fear." That was Miss Harbor Lee. I do have a lot of sayings because I believe in faith, desire, and what your focus is and what you want to make out of life. Quit making excuses and blaming the world.
Yes. Absolutely.
Amen.
Absolutely.
Hey, LaJoy, we have a lot of folks on the comment line who are very interested in not only checking out your shop, but potentially ordering coffee from you. And they are asking for your address of your business and your email address. If you can give that to us.
Yes, the address is 8909 Lackland, that's LACKLAND Road, St. Louis, Missouri, 63114. And my email address, it is LaJoy's Coffee Cafe at yahoo.com. So let me put it up. Hold on.
Yeah, there we go.
Love it.
There we go. Hey, LaJoy, this wasn't so bad, right? Joining
No, I
us.
was nervous.
Yeah, I know you were. I know. I appreciate you trusting me and jumping on. We'll be in touch. We'll order some coffee. We'll get it on here. We'll show it. I appreciate you taking some time to join us today and give us a perspective from your life and what's going on right now.
Okay, now wish all you guys the best and have a happy new year and be blessed.
You as well.
All right, we
Thank you.
appreciate it, LaJoy Dabney, and I loved her realness and we met by chance, and we just started talking, and then we ended up talking, for the next 30, 40 minutes.
Exactly. And I'll tell you right now, that's exactly what I'm talking about. You can have all the ideologies you want in your head, Tabitha Hassel. Stop looking at your phone over there. Look at me. You can have all the Tabitha. You can have all the. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. You can have all the ideologies you want in your head.
I'm looking up loans. I am not kidding you. I'm looking up loans for LaJoy, and that's actually literally what I was doing.
She's not going to need them pretty soon.
Well, she doesn't, because she had the capital.
She's very humble. LaJoy's doing very
She's
well,
fantastic.
and it came from nothing.
She's going to parlay this into success. I'm telling you.
She already has.
Oh my! I know. I don't even know what she's like.
Her medical business and taking people for dialysis.
This is
What a brilliant idea.
Well,
because that's such a thing.
That's a massive business for her. The coffee shop came second.
Yeah, but that's the thing that's going to make her uber successful because you know why? Because just like we're talking about, we're putting her address on
Stop making excuses.
God, she made my point from you can have any ideology you want. You can be like, education's important to me. Racism is all over the place. You can have that all over the place. But at the end of the day, you shut your door, you whatever you're interested in, and you focus on that. And you say, I'm going to start a business, and I'm not going to be held down anymore. I don't give a damn what AT&T or Boeing or Anheuser-Busch did to me. They didn't pay me enough for what I'm worth. I'm going to do it myself. And she did it.
She did. She's
she did
fantastic.
it.
And let me tell you something.
And you're right.
I love her spirit.
Systemic racism is there.
And
Fine.
she's not,
I will agree
and
with that.
she's not a conservative Republican either. And that's what we try to do. We bring all opinions. You know what? If an opinion or something seems to go right, there it is. It's with us. But we can have these conversations with people who don't necessarily agree.
Yeah.
And you can all freaking at least get your opinions out.
Yeah, and then I'll say his name. I don't care. Drew Collins on our. How can you live life that negative, Drew? Seriously, when you just saw someone like that probably feels the same way about racism as you do. But she said, you know what? Screw that. I'm going to go out and make something of myself. I'm not going to bitch about it.
Well, she did deal with racism, but she didn't let it stop her.
Didn't let her stop her.
Get to
And
getting.
she didn't bitch about it. She's like, okay, here, this is what the hell happened. And she literally said she was in and out in about 20 minutes with her new car.
I think that's fabulous. That's
Really?
fabulous.
I wasn't here.
You know-
Okay, look, this did happen.
Play the game.
I love
you know
that
what?
she's successful.
Play the game. You know what? What she could have done? You know what? We're in a
I
different era.
promise you, I'm going to get you some coffee before you make your
Whatever.
point. Yeah, I'll bring
Whatever,
it in.
I'm
It was
fine.
just, I was kind of lazy with I needed cups.
Yeah, I love her. I love her. I want her to be part of our Christmas party. I want her to be a part of the family here. She's exactly the kind of person that's going to save this country, in my opinion. Is you can think whatever you want. Stop bitching about it and go do something. It's like a football coach would tell you. I don't give a damn that you have your knee is hurt. Rub some damn dirt on it and get back on the field. That's the kind of people that we need to fix this place. I feel like I bitch a lot on this show, and maybe I should stop
do.
bitching so much.
No, you
I
don't.
should stop bitching
Don't
so much.
bitch. Don't bitch
I really
too much.
should. Yeah.
We're getting
No,
our
you
voices
should
out there,
do
getting the
more of
opinions
it
out.
because you need to be mad. You're not mad
Exactly.
enough yet.
Yeah, but I don't get mad about the same things you get mad
I
about.
know, and that's a shame.
I don't
because
get
we
mad
need you
about
on our
that.
side.
I don't get mad about that stuff.
No,
I think we should live more in a spiritual way, and then we should live within inside ourselves, and we should live like LaJoy might live, and you just take care of business.
Well,
if you're unhappy, get happy.
What I liked about talking to LaJoy is I wanted to ask her those questions about how she felt the system has basically kind of failed her or made
She
things more
told you.
difficult for her. No, that's
Just
what I
the
said.
one Lexus story
I-
should have been enough for you.
I appreciate that from her, but it is a fact that there are banks who do loan money to minorities without credit checks and without any proof of payment because it's something we've talked about many times.
If
Bank
you
of
find
America
it-
is one of those banks.
Yeah.
Well, I was trying to look up the article
So
because
she could
Drew was
call.
asking,
She don't need it.
and she doesn't
Yeah,
need
I
it.
know.
Trust me, LaJoy's doing everything the right way.
Yeah.
She does not need to take out a loan or anyone else's money. She is hugely
Yeah,
successful.
but in Lexus dealerships, they're going to play the same get out of my store with hillbilly Hoosier looking dudes too.
They might. They
I'm
might.
telling you, they will.
So if I walk in to buy a Lexus,
You're screwed. You're screwed.
You know what? I'll go and we'll record it. I'll put on like my Carhartt stuff and get all dirty.
Yeah, but
and
you would
go
have
in
to
there
buy the Lexus is the problem.
Well, that
See, that would be the problem.
I just want to see if they talk to me.
Tara has a great quote from the Facebook line, and this is what it's all about. And I'm glad that this is what you see. I bet we agree on more things than we think. That's Republicans, Democrats, society.
Of no question.
And it doesn't even matter.
Exactly.
This is a person everyone should be supporting.
Yes.
Because she embodies the true.
Yes.
Sorry, Stanford. I'm going to say it. The true American spirit.
You should have
You're
Tashara
canceled.
Jones today at noon with her arm around her saying, this, my friend, St. Louis, Missouri, is who we should be
Stop right now. Who did we just have on this show a couple weeks ago, other than Nicole Jenkins,
Yeah.
who said that the city did nothing for her as a
I'm not
black
saying that-
female
I'm
business
saying
owner?
the city should
Tashara
take-
Jones did nothing
I'm
for
saying
her. They held her back.
If I was running St. Louis proper, I would have this girl, I would say, we are going to clean this place up.
Well, her business is in the county. It's in North County.
That's a problem. It is a problem because it's in the county. That's who. But,
she
but
thinks that's a better situation for her, she said.
I would have a press conference today saying, I'm Tashara Jones, and I'm done sick of St. Louis being just a dilapidated mess. Let me introduce you to somebody. All of you people around St. Louis that want to be a victim, you're not victims anymore. She just started one of the best coffee companies in St. Louis,
like
Missouri.
you guys said, she needs to be a mentor, and I'm sure that's already something she's doing.
Well, I'm sure when she gets time.
When she has, I know she must be a busy lady.
No, she is.
And I would love to check out her shop. I really would.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's right near the airport. Look it up, check it out. I'll get some coffee. You can check it out, Eric. I liked it. You may not like it. I liked it because I do like tea as well. And I was like, oh, it's a mix between coffee and tea.
What does it taste like?
It had a hint of tea, but with a flavoring that wasn't strong. I'm trying to explain this. That it was a lighter flavor, which is what I like. The basic flavor that they had. Now she has different grades, but that one was.
And you can
that
buy.
blend.
You can buy it to take it home and make it yourself.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, that's what's important because
Yes.
I would love to try. I'm a brand new coffee drinker.
Yeah.
And so far, the only thing I buy are the flavored pods.
Okay.
And then I have to put a ton of that like powdered creamer in there, like the no sugar, no whatever fat powdered creamer. And no matter what I do, it
that's
doesn't
disgusting.
taste. It is. No, there's nothing I can do to like coffee. So I'm wondering if I would like that.
Just go get yourself. Just start from elementary school. Go get a nice vanilla latte at Starbucks.
But I don't want all the sugar. I don't want any
Sugar-free vanilla. There you go. I just
Bingo.
solved your problem.
And I don't want to sit at Starbucks like you do for 45 minutes every morning.
You get in touch with yourself a little bit when you're in that 4-hour line.
Hey, by the way, coming up in our 9 o'clock hour, we're going to hit the Trump situation hard. What happened yesterday, the possible charges. Some people didn't think that we hit that subject enough yesterday. We jumped into some other topics, and we kind of go with the flow because this is your show. You jump in, and we had such great conversation yesterday talking about the drag show and what happened there. We didn't get enough into what's happening with Merrick Garland. We'll get into that at 9 o'clock, but there's something else that's going on. Anybody who has a parent, anybody who's sick, Scotty, we know that right now.
Aw.
It seems like a lot of people have had the flu. We talked about flu cases being astronomical all over the country, especially in the St. Louis area where we broadcast. Did you see that CVS and Walgreens are now, believe it or not, they're limiting the amount of medicine that you can buy
What medicine?
over the counter?
You mean the symptomatic
Flu-
medicine?
yes.
kind of
Because
crap?
there's a shortage of
There is a
medication.
shortage.
From
And
what-
it's
really?
affecting children. It's a really big
Well, they're
deal.
the purchases of children's pain relief medicine because of the rising cases of flu, I guess COVID, and RSV.
And don't get cholera because you'll be in big trouble.
What is that?
Cholera is still very prevalent, believe it or not. And there are cases in the United States, very prevalent. In other cases, nearly 100 people have died in the Philippines because normally the world government, whoever,
The world government. Jeez.
hands out 30. I think it's actually the WHO
Where's the capital for the world government, by the way?
in Ukraine.
Stop it.
The WHO hands out about 36 million vaccines for cholera every year, and they have none right now. It's a really
That's
big
scary.
deal.
I mean, here's
Medication shortages, Vic, like you're talking about, is such a big deal.
the Consumer Healthcare Products Association said that sales of pediatric pain relievers right now up 65%. That's massive. So yeah, we're going to, compared to last year at this time. So yeah, we're going to have a supply demand going on. Meanwhile, the respiratory virus season, which we all know has been pretty damn brutal, it's continuing to strain the pediatric hospitals on top of that. So kids are particularly vulnerable to RSV, if you didn't know that yet, which is hospitalized more than 4 out of every 1,000 children younger than 5 this year. So that's coming from the CDC. Take it for what it's worth. But if you've gone into a CVS or Walgreens and tried to get some of the children's pain relief medicine, they're not allowing you to get everything. And you're going to have some super challenges getting over-the-counter pediatric fever-reducing products.
As well as people are pointing out to us on the comment line, antibiotics, including amoxicillin, in short
Wait a minute.
supply right now.
Oh, so you mean, so you go to a doc and they prescribe amoxicillin. You may not get it?
That is absolutely correct. There is a shortage of amoxicillin and
Because that has to be
other
prescribed by a doctor, of course.
antibiotics. That is correct.
Yeah.
There's 120 medications right now on the list of severe shortages right here in the United States.
I don't know. I'd love to hear a poll on Facebook, I guess, because that's what I'm looking at right now. I feel like I had something just recently. It was just all body ache. It was no fever, not really even a headache. It was like I just felt kind of run down for a couple of days, and then I was perfectly fine.
You were hungover?
And then our sound man, that was a good one, Tab.
That is a good one.
And then our sound man tested positive for COVID.
Uh-oh.
But the next day he was gone.
Yeah.
So you gave your COVID to Scotty, and now he's sick.
Tabitha, I'm really not. That's not conversation I'm having. I'm wondering, is a little small body
Mine's not
ache?
COVID. Mine's not COVID.
You're sick?
Yeah, I'm feeling a little.
What you got?
I don't know. I woke up this
Eric's so
morning
excited.
and yesterday I was
What you
coughing.
got, buddy?
I was coughing all day yesterday.
Yeah.
And I kind of just, it was like a tickle. It didn't really, now my throat hurts because I coughed all day yesterday. But I'm all right.
That's how mine
I
started.
don't have any fever. I don't
a
really
while
feel
back.
bad other than
Yes!
I'm tired of coughing.
Do you have body aches?
Not really. I was tired yesterday, but up early and then we were here till.
Yeah.
Scotty, I had that
Night,
3 weeks
we had
ago.
like a 10-hour date in the studio.
I did too. I just got over being sick 3 weeks ago. I had it really
What
bad.
was that? What was that illness?
I was super tired, just like
Tired?
body aches.
Okay.
Hacking.
Yeah?
Congested.
Yes.
But did you ever have a desire to go get tested? A question
Boom.
from our line.
I just did my
Why
little
are
home
people
test.
still testing? And if you know you have it, what difference does it make?
What a great
Right.
question.
But I did a home test just for family because I go see my mom at the nursing home and you got to be whatever. So
Because COVID would be worse to show up with than flu, I guess.
Anytime.
not
And
necessarily. They do a COVID protocol. So if anyone gets it, they lock down the whole thing and no one can see their parents.
Okay.
Who does?
Who
oh,
does?
The
family.
nursing home.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that
so,
makes
but
sense.
not for flu or RSV or any of the other things that are going on?
I don't get warnings for that anyway.
That's insane.
Okay, that makes sense. So what was
I
the-
had no COVID.
Okay.
My brother had bronchitis.
Mm-hmm.
And then his wife actually just had COVID last week. I haven't been around him
How
or
was
seen
the,
him.
what
but
were the
that's
symptoms for her COVID?
nothing.
Nothing.
She felt bad one day and then she tested negative like 3 days later.
Yeah. This variant apparently is just like a nothing burger. That's why I ask. Is because I wonder if I was one of those people that came because I didn't feel like I had the flu. Flu is fever, right? And it's like you just dehydrated. Yeah.
yeah.
And a cold, you can punch through a cold. I feel like that this new variant, I got it again. I feel like I've had COVID like 20 times.
You
And you've never
probably
tested
have.
positive once.
I've never tested positive once. So it's just so strange. Because back when I was a kid, back in the old days, Vic, when I was a kid,
Put some testing on
I'll
it.
tell you how it was. You literally could get a cold, and you kind of knew you had a cold.
It has been a weird season.
If
so
you had a
far.
flu, you were laying on a
It's-
couch watching the Golden Girls with your mom and not going to school.
Oh, my God.
Now you have no idea what the hell this stuff is that you're getting. RSV, what the hell is that? It's a little kid disease. Okay.
But adults are getting it right now
Yeah,
as well.
exactly.
I was sick, Scotty. It sounds like what you have is the exact same thing I had. And I think I got it like 4 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. And it started out the same way with like this little tickle and a little tiny cough. Then I coughed so hard that my throat started hurting from the coughing. And then I got to the point where I coughed so hard, I'm pretty sure I ruptured a kidney, a spleen, and broke a couple ribs. And it was the most.
Did you fall down the stairs?
It was so painful. The coughing from whatever this is so violent and painful that I'm not kidding you. For me to be able to cough, I had to sit up against a hard chair and hold my arms around my sides because otherwise it was too painful. So I had to take pain medication.
You need one of those little
for the
bears they give
coughing.
you after like heart surgery. Like
I know.
it's called Sir Cough-a-Lot. It's a teddy bear, so you hold it
Sir
against your
Cough-a-Lot.
chest when they do
I
open heart
need
surgery.
one of those, but you know what? It went away as fast as it came. But I did go to the doctor. They did not test me for COVID. And my doctor gave me the good advice that anyone else should give. If you don't feel good, don't be around people. And I'm not saying that to you.
Yeah, good
Right,
job,
no,
Scotty.
I understand.
I'm not saying that to you.
Well, I've kind of been laying back here just because I don't
you're
really
fine.
feel
No.
bad. I just got to my throat
There
sore.
wouldn't have been a show today.
I'm not.
Scotty
Yeah,
wasn't here.
and that's why I'm saying not. I'm not saying that to you.
must
I'm
go
saying
on.
what my doctor told me, and I'm talking about when it comes to COVID testing. He didn't test me for COVID. He's like, it's not what he goes. What you have is not contagious. He said it is a upper respiratory infection. They gave me a Z-Pack and some cough medicine. He said is absolutely not contagious.
This is interesting from Jamie. So many people are getting things, in quotes, because they stayed closed up for 2 years and no
Yes.
immune system.
Okay, that's
That's
the,
right.
want
but the
people-
opposite of that is
That's
true
right.
as well.
But I want to hear your comments, and I love it. Jump in on whatever platform you're watching
Now back
on,
to
whether it's Facebook,
monkeypox.
YouTube,
Glenn, you're funny.
Rumble. I want to hear what people have because everybody seems to have had some different.
Okay,
And
so
why? And they say it's not contagious. To me, if it's not contagious, then why does everyone
what's
have
not
it?
contagious?
The doctor said what I had was not contagious.
But it wasn't the flu, right?
He said it was not the flu.
An infection's not
He didn't.
contagious.
He said it wasn't COVID. He said right now everybody has this upper respiratory infection.
Okay.
He said it's bacterial, and you have to take antibiotics to get rid of it.
Okay, I need somebody to explain to me why.
We need a physician.
Why Scotty's can go see his family if they have the flu, RSV, or anything else, but not if they have COVID.
Oh, I know it's
I
infuriating.
know that may sound
Now,
stupid to
I
some
didn't-
people that I'm asked, well, Vic, it's COVID. COVID's worse. Is it?
I don't know if I can't. It's recommended not to if you're sick to stay away.
But there's
Well,
a protocol for COVID, but there's no protocol.
Yeah,
The
like they
flu-
let us know if people have COVID. They don't call us and say, "Oh, three inmates or inmates."
That's called
three residents.
politics. That's
Alrighty
politics.
then.
Three
We're
residents
breaking
have
up
the
Grandma.
flu. They don't send out an email for
Welcome
that.
to cancel this.
we found Grandma in the ducks. She was trying to escape.
That's all politics. And that's why I brought up what I did.
It
That
pisses me off.
It makes
because-
me mad too, Vic.
Because they being health officials, directors of facilities, directors of businesses, they don't know. They're clueless. They're as clueless as anybody else. But yeah, well, we're going to have this and that. Well, what is the thought process?
here's
behind
I
it?
believe it's state guidelines is what they're following for the nurses.
Which is
those have
political.
proven,
It's ridiculous.
Those have proven to be bad. But I think, Vic, that the opposite of all of this is true as well. There's a lot of us that have said, screw your protocols, and we have caught a lot of things over the last 2 years, and we didn't mask up, and we didn't get vaccinated, and we got to a point where our immune systems were I don't know, man. I feel like my immune system can stave off anything right now just because we were exposed to everything for 2 years.
Well, yeah, because you were hanging out at Brewski's.
Exactly. But you make a joke out of it.
With that
you make a
ventilation.
joke out of that. He makes a joke out of it.
But it also gave him an opportunity to have an immune system to fight things off.
And now these people that bunkered out in their basement with 4 masks on their face and 4 inoculations or whatever it is, they're coming back into society and they're getting nailed. Where's a physician we can talk to? Because we need to
And
talk
ask
to
him what?
somebody. We need to ask a physician, are we out of our minds for thinking that we have
We don't have
superhuman
to
powers?
ask a doctor for that information.
Damn, Tabitha, you are
Stop
mad
right
today.
Now.
You are so mad today.
Stop right now. We don't have
Look
to
at how
ask.
you're looking at me.
We don't have to ask a doctor for anything because all they're going to do is
chilling.
lie to us. They're just going to lie to us.
Well, you didn't like what Dr. David Tannehill told you all the time.
I think I was right.
You might have been.
Vic, I was right. I was smarter than a physician. That's my new game show.
You are smarter than a physician. I will
Believe
give
it.
you that, Eric.
Tonight I'm smarter than a physician.
Use your own brain cells, which I know you have plenty of. You're a very intelligent guy.
He still has some
And
left.
They're
You-
thinning. They're thinning.
Use your
right.
common sense,
Yeah.
which tells you that, you know what? Nobody needs a COVID test. They don't work. B, if you have any type of symptoms of an illness, guess what? You shouldn't be around people. You don't need to go and test for COVID. It's just that easy. You don't need to ask a doctor anything about that.
Danielle says, ask a smart nurse that understands common sense medicine.
Because they're the ones that go in and,
And there
in and out
are
of the-
some.
Yes.
Could not agree anymore.
If you're a nurse, call in right
Yes, doctor,
now.
I concur.
And Glenn Thompson says Eric is smarter than a 5th grader.
Maybe.
The show that was on
Come on
TV
now.
as well.
I might disagree with you.
Mary wants to remind us, Dr. Scott Jensen, we remember him because he ran for governor in the state of Minnesota. He lost, but he was basically canceled because of his stances on COVID.
Exactly.
Because he refused to jump into the whole situation. John says, just green tea and Tylenol, baby. Some Motrin for the fever.
Good guess.
Just relax and have some fun.
That's right.
My hubs had to start the day. He had a 2-week cold. He caught the flu. That was influenza A. Then I got that 2-day gastro thing. So glad we got it before. We head to Gulf Shores. Enjoy what we hope is a great trip and some sun. And beating our snow. And by the way, if you're just listening in, we do have our kickoff party scheduled for Thursday night at 7 o'clock at Wendy's. we will make a decision on that tomorrow.
Weather dependent.
I was watching the weather, and I think that if the accumulation was such a problem, they would have really dived in on that a little bit more than they did.
Wrong. Where's my buzzer?
What the hell is going on here? Oh my God. They said the accumulation was not the problem. It was the cold weather. I mean, they really didn't dive into the snow.
Okay, you missed out on the first 20 minutes of the show. So I'm going to backtrack for you,
Okay.
Eric.
Okay.
The weather god by the name of Dave Murray.
Yes, and where's he at right now? We
What
need to call
Dave
him up.
Murray said is that it's impossible to know what the accumulation is right now until the storm passes over the Rockies.
Oh.
And he will not have an update on accumulation until Wednesday afternoon.
Okay.
Yeah, you wait as long as you can. And obviously, we're based out of the St. Louis area, so that's where we do our live show from. We know we have listeners all across the country, and the storm that's coming across will hit a lot of the Midwest anyway. And temperatures are getting cold even in Florida.
Yeah.
And other spots as well. Hey, it's winter. It's going to happen eventually. We've had what I would consider to be a mild winter up to this point.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, it may be effing up our party on Thursday night. We will see where that goes. And I don't know. I'll check to the good people over there, see if the next Thursday's open. So maybe we could still try to do it during the holiday. And, of course, we can't do
I
Friday
think we
and
should
Saturday.
do it next Saturday.
We can't do that, Tabitha. He's
What?
playing.
That's New
I
Year's.
know,
Eric
I'm-
said
Isn't
all
that New
Friday.
Year's Eve?
Yeah.
I'm just teasing Eric.
I'll see you in Kansas City.
Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We absolutely have
Valentine's Day. Women love Valentine's Day. We'll meet on Valentine's Day.
to have, and then we can have a red shot.
Weather people, best paid profession ever, never have to be accurate. Jamie, kind of, but kind of not too, because
I'm with Jamie.
you get blasted as a weather person in the St. Louis area because the weather here is almost impossible to predict. It really is all the time. And people talk, especially when it comes to snowfall, because 1 degree can dictate 8 to 10 inches of snow and nothing.
What?
1 freaking degree.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, we're supposed to get 8 inches. 1 degree. It didn't happen.
Yeah.
The freezing. So there
Stop
you go.
making excuses for the meteorologists.
I don't have any
They
reason
are
to.
almost always wrong, and that's okay. We love them anyway.
I love Tabitha. I love you. I really do. I love you.
Welcome to my hell, Vic.
But anyway, we hope everybody's staying healthy as best as you possibly can, regardless. And if anybody has the secret remedy to get healthy quicker, whatever, let us know.
I do, but I can't say it.
Don't say
I
it.
almost didn't. I
Don't
stopped
say it.
myself.
Suck on some
I
horse
stopped
paste.
myself.
Yeah.
But, I'm glad you brought that up. We're not going to talk about it now. Conversation for another day. A lot of these illnesses are parasitic, and people have to take anti-parasitics for them.
Okay, explain it for the common folk.
Because when I had my upper respiratory infection, guess what I took? I took the I word. And I did not take the other things I was supposed to take. And guess what? The I word cured me in my... Whatever I had came on. It was really hard for 2 days, and then it was gone.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of the illnesses we have these days, including many cancers, are actually parasites, parasitics. And so an anti-parasitic will actually take care of that for you.
Okay.
All right.
But doctors will not prescribe that for you, Eric.
Then how do you deal with that? Where do you get it?
You can get it at Rural King.
Okay.
Did you
Treat yourself like a
Scotty?
horse.
Did you take the I word?
No. I was in the hospital, so
He
I
was
took the-
very ill when
Would
he
would it
had
have worked
the
for
C
him?
word.
Would it have worked for him?
I
It might have.
100% believe that it would have, yes.
There might have, yeah, absolutely.
Did you ever think about it? Like, man,
Well, we have ivermectin ice cubes.
now we're canceled.
Oh my God, you said it.
Ivermectin. All right, go
Okay.
ahead. Sorry.
Holy cow.
Go ahead.
Ice cubes.
Ice cubes. Yeah, we got to come up with a code word. So they had it, and they were like, you don't have to.
can't say that.
No.
Yes, you can. Sure, you
just
can.
That's like the kiss of death.
It is not the kiss
Don't
of
even
death.
talk about it.
Look at how
deal.
scared
Bananas,
we all are
like
on
Glenn
this show
said,
right now.
we're all scared now.
It's so scared.
I guess they cut you for that. Huh?
I'm a vitamin D, vitamin C, vitamin E guy.
And
Vitamin
zinc.
C, zinc, I mean. not E.
B12,
And
all
it
that.
works.
Take it all.
It freaking works. It works without question.
And no sugar. Sugar is poison. Sugar is poison. Don't eat the sugar.
Or your
Don't.
coffee.
Yeah.
I know it sucks.
Okay.
It all sucks.
Back to monkey.
It's unfortunate. Back to
I've had enough of this conversation.
Daniel says, me 3. I found him early, a doc. I found him early during COVID-19 when he was blowing the whistle on the death certifications at the hospitals. It's Orwellian, as we've talked about, getting turned off for saying things, to have the spot on about sugar, but that's such a hard one.
Sugar is poison. It's not that hard
And
these days.
Somebody says, don't take the paste. It's an all-day chemist online.
I don't know what that means.
Neither do I.
So
I have used
that we're not,
only the paste, and
the
it has
reason-
been fantastic.
oh yeah, the reason that we all looked like we were freaked out is the you can't even say it.
Don't
But
even get into it.
I
You
have
don't
to.
even- no,
I
you
have
don't.
to because I'm so pissed off about it right now that we have a show called Cancel This, and we
We're
literally
scared of being
and we
canceled?
literally are afraid of being canceled. And it's the reason is because these big companies have what is called a metadata. And if you say something, it gets thrown into that metadata. The metadata says, "Oh, look, they used the I word." Boom, they kick us off.
Yeah.
It happened to us yesterday.
And you're fighting against that. And it's like you're getting in a.
But it's not a big deal because everybody knows what we're talking about anyway.
It
as long as you
is.
get the message
It
out.
is. But if you slip up, Orwell just came
But
back
you
to
shouldn't.
life. And
No, but you don't slip up. It's easy. You don't because you say you know how to do it.
not me. If you're having that conversation, there's all kinds of words.
There's not even
we got kicked off yesterday for some reason.
And we have
Who the
no
hell
idea
knows
why.
what we got
Who
kicked
knows?
off for yesterday?
Who knows?
How do you have a
It doesn't take much.
how do you have a conversation about anything in this country anymore?
You do your best. You do your best with the circumstances and the.
You have to
parameters
meet
around
late
you.
at night in a
Because
park
here's the
like
thing.
in the
Yes,
old
you
days.
do.
No, but here's the other thing, Eric. In life, you have parameters put around you on certain things as well that you may not like. It's just not this area. There's other areas too.
You know,
In your work, in your band. I mean, there's parameters that are put on certain things. Some parameters with Platinum Rock Legend.
no, those are different. But it's like if I would love to know this, and I would basically be on all these platforms side. Give me an exact number of people who passed away by taking the I word.
None. Zero.
Really?
Zero.
Well, then I guess we have no problems.
Absolutely
Is
zero.
there some sort of scientific
No one has
study
even
that's
been sick.
done?
You can look at multiple
'Cause that would
scientific
be
studies.
massive.
Multiple. People call it the wonder drug. Somebody won a Nobel Prize for making the I word.
Yeah. Look how uncomfortable everybody is.
Have
in
you
this room
seen
right
the
now.
report from Oregon State University, I believe it was, about CBD and CBDA working much like it attacks the it works like the mRNA
What?
vaccine. Oh yeah, it's
Well,
it's
are
literally
you talking
a-
about the
It works
nasal
like a
spray?
vaccine?
No, like taking CBD,
Oh, CBD.
will attack COVID and attach to it and keep it from spreading to other cells. It will break it down.
Show
There
is
is
doomed. We're going to be.
I'm
canceled.
telling you, no. This is
There's nothing wrong
we-
with CBD.
there is
I know.
this is a legitimate study that was done at Oregon State University. I'll find it and see if I can pull it up and give you guys some information. But yeah,
I think
there
that's
is-
fantastic.
but it got totally just brushed under the rug. Like
Well,
nobody said
usually
anything
if
about
there's
it.
no money that can be involved with it, or if it hasn't been brought through by certain groups,
I will find
massive national groups, national worldwide groups, and there's no money, then you're not going to see that. Lisa
Exactly.
says black human seed oil is a natural alternative for
The I word.
what we were talking about.
The I word.
Get you some and keep it in hand for all viruses.
Yeah, so I'm assuming, Lisa, that black cumin seed oil is a anti-parasitic because that's what the I word is. You know, going back to CBD, I have not personally used it, but I know people who have used CBD to treat so many different things. Anxiety being a big one. You know, people who have tried to quit smoking or tried to quit other habits have used CBD oil to kind of get them through that. I guess it's very calming. But I think there's a natural remedy out there for everything. And you know what, Eric, back to your earlier point, if you ask a doctor about that, all doctors want to do is throw pharmaceuticals at you.
Yes.
You know, because they're paid. That's how they get kickbacks. And I don't trust the health industry at all.
Well, they're
Not
salesmen.
at all. They are
there's no
salesmen.
different than a Lexus dealership. Basically, I hate to say that, but you know, you're right. They sell their services. They're not acquiring $500,000 in debt for nothing. And when you go to a doctor's office, they have all of these wonderful and these guys that sell pharmaceuticals to the doctors. They make a fortune.
Yes,
that
they do.
That money has to come back somehow. So and this isn't a bad thing. This is how we've decided to do business over the last 100 years, is you go to a guy that's basically schlepping for the pharmaceutical companies, right? Unless you're getting a surgery or you're setting a cast or something like that. But most physicians will be like, oh, no, you can't use this natural stuff. That is not going to help you out. First of all, the human body will fix itself 9 times out of 10. You don't have to do anything to it.
And it can.
You drink a lot of water, you get a lot of rest. Unless it's something that is, stage 4 or whatever it is, then you should go to a physician. But most of the time, your body it'll fix itself.
Even at stage 4, sometimes your body can heal itself.
And I think that's why that Scotty's message doesn't get through to a lot of people like us. CBD is a natural derivative of hemp, right? Isn't that what it is?
Correct.
For the most part. It will apparently fix a lot of problems, but people don't want to hear it because then they would have to give their faith and take it away from science and put it over in nature. And that is a really hard thing for a lot of people to do that are going to their physicians every 2 months or so.
Here's the article here. Hemp compounds identified in Oregon State University research via a chemical screening technique invented at OSU show the ability to prevent the virus that causes COVID-19 from entering human cells.
Very interesting.
How about that?
Very interesting. But you know what? I bet your doctor's not going to tell you that.
Probably not.
What doctor tells you, hey, let's test your immune system. Let's give you some vitamin C, some vitamin B, some vitamin D, and send you an elderberry? None of them.
Well,
none of them.
Let's not say they're not out there because we don't know.
You're right. You know what? There are the ones that are out there are
Yeah.
the ones. There are plenty out there who do. You're
Yeah.
right. But the ones who do tell you that, they're the ones who get banned and canceled, and we don't hear about them because they're not allowed to speak out in the open.
Yeah.
But there are plenty of them.
Well,
that do.
I had an experience with a doctor when in the beginning of all this COVID stuff. I went in for, I don't even know why I went in, whatever it was. And and I told you the story. Right behind him, it says, get your COVID thing here, your COVID shot here. I go, do I really need that? I kind of, I'm in a rock band. I think I've been exposed to it multiple times. I think I had it once. And he looked at me. I think he even looked around the office. He said, yeah, I wouldn't get it if I were you. I literally had a physician tell me that I did not need to get the shot.
Mine as well.
I think you said
poetic
that
science.
before. It is.
Poetic science.
My doctor as well told me I shouldn't get the shot unless I planned on traveling at the time. And that was like in the heart of the COVID.
Yeah.
Mine has
outbreak.
never even asked me, believe it or not.
I
Never said a word.
I asked.
I did the antibody test.
I've done back when we were on the war on COVID. I did several of the antibody tests because when I did have COVID, I had no symptoms, and I wanted to see if I built antibodies, and I did actually a very high level of antibodies,
What was your number?
like 1,500.
Mine was 1880.
Yeah, and you had it because you had it bad.
That's
You had it
massive.
bad.
Well, and then my doctor told me anything over 100 makes you immune to that virus. Anything over 100 on that count. He's like, so you're pretty safe. He goes, they'll eventually dwindle down, but
Again, T cell, B cell. Remember those? Remember the T cell, B cells? If it comes in your body, even though you haven't got the antibodies anymore, it remembers what it was, and that's how it's able to stem off, putting you in the ICU.
No, it makes sense. Hey, we're going to take a quick break. We will talk about what's going on with Trump, what happened with Attorney General Merrick Garland, Putin admitting that they've got some major problems now in some areas that they're occupied in Ukraine.
Yeah.
We'll let Tabitha jump into that as well. There's a 6.4 magnitude earthquake hit California. A lot of people have lost power from that standpoint. Not sure about injuries. We'll certainly get into that as well. And of course, it is cancelthisshow.com. Pick your platform there. Scotty Gherkin's on boards. Eric Johnson, Tabitha Hassel, I'm Vic Faust. Back with more right after this. Hey guys, welcome back to Cancel This. CancelThisShow.com is our website with Scotty Gherkin on the boards. Love that music as we talked about earlier. We have got Eric Johnson here, Tabitha Hassel. I'm Vic Faust. Thanks for jumping back in with us. You can jump in the comment lines as well. Go to CancelThisShow.com. Pick your platform that you want to go to. And, of course, you can watch us there. Jump in. The interaction, second to none here on the show. Some people may be pissed off at what's happened to President Trump or former President Trump regarding what many consider to be another hoax going after him for January 6th. But after back and forth deliberations for months and months and months, well, the Justice Department is now deciding on at least 4 criminal charges.
Good luck.
Yeah, it's going to be up to Attorney General Merrick Garland to make the ultimate call on any charging decisions. And in response to the criminal referrals, Trump released the following statement yesterday, said, quote, "These folks don't get it, that when they come after me, people who love freedom rally around me. It strengthens me.
True.
What doesn't kill me makes me stronger."
Yep.
I'll be shocked if charges aren't brought, because that's the only way to continue to keep this to go.
You ever see those things on Facebook, the slapping matches where people will just
love
slap
it.
each other?
It's the
Oh
best
my
stuff.
gosh.
I feel like that's what we're going through right now, is that the Democrats had their opportunity with their first slap, and it was like, I mean, it was a pretty good one. You had the January 6th committee, you had the FBI at Twitter, they slapped hard. They had all that stuff, the Russian hoax. I feel like it's the Republicans' turn. They're brushing it off. Their committee is about to come up, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna have an Elon Musk is gonna spill the beans on the FBI spying on American citizens.
Already has.
You have the Republican Party taking over Congress, so all the Hunter Biden facts are gonna come out. I don't think that the media is gonna be on their side, but it'll get out. I feel like we're in a slapping competition right now, and the Democrats have exhausted everything that they can do at this point. Now it's the Republicans' turn, and it seems like they have a pretty good muscle behind them. It'll be interesting to see if they can knock out a Democrat with it, but it seems to me like they have pretty good muscle behind them.
They're going to go after Trump with everything they have. We already know that. There's no question about it, because they don't want him to run in 2024. They're going to do anything they can to keep that from happening.
And Republican, and you know what? There's a lot of Republicans that are there's more Republicans that don't want Trump to run than there are Democrats that don't want Trump to run. Democrats bring it.
I don't know.
You
about
are.
that. I don't know about that.
You don't think so?
But this whole thing is all about going after Trump so that he can't run. I don't know if the Democrats expected a DeSantis to come on so strong, and more so since the midterms. We've talked about this before. But when it comes to any possible, quote, charges against the former president, one thing to charge, another thing to convict, as we saw with the Russia hoax. You just keep something going and going and going and going and going and going, and you try to draw a bunch of negative attention to it over and over and over. Could it backfire? Certainly. Do I really feel something is going to happen? Hell no. And people were asking us to talk about this more than what we did yesterday, which is why we brought it up after what came down yesterday. What's Merrick Garland going to do? When you know anything about Merrick Garland, you know, of course, he's going to come after criminal charges. And I'd like to, does anybody even really know what those criminal charges are? What are they blaming the president for?
They claim he incited violence amongst
and
many things.
There's no way to prove it.
They're
Come
probably
on,
going
let's get real.
to go after him maybe for sedition. You know, I don't know. I know that I read some of that information yesterday. I'm not as confident as you are, Vic, that he won't be convicted. I'm not as confident.
Convicted?
Convicted.
I don't see any way it's possible. I know, and we all have our opinions on it. You think it? You're saying it. Well, I'm saying no. I'm not even saying there's a possibility. I'm saying no. He will not be convicted. No way.
It's a show trial. He isn't in the eyes of. I mean, he's been set up.
I've seen
since
zero
day one.
evidence for conviction.
Yeah, since day. It's not even about conviction. It's about constitutionality of all of this stuff. He's not going to get convicted. This is all for the Democrats to basically run against him in 2024. Everybody knows it. It is.
I'm curious why you guys don't think he'll be convicted.
Because what Vic just said. because
I haven't
DOJ.
seen strong evidence.
Yeah.
There hasn't
anything.
been strong evidence against any of the people that have been
Which is
convicted.
no. It's,
There are
no.
plenty of people sitting in prison right now.
Stop, Tabitha. You're wrong. I love you, but you're wrong.
I'm not wrong. There
And
are
here's
people
why.
in prison.
Because they did what? We have evidence of them rushing a Capitol, which
No,
was
you're wrong. You
okay.
are so wrong.
Then what am I wrong about?
Because no, they did not rush the Capitol.
So, see,
they did not,
went in,
some
they went into a Capitol illegally.
Some of
Tabitha.
these people-
that is breaking a law. There's evidence. I haven't seen direct
I don't
evidence
agree with
where
you on
Trump.
that.
That's and the question, the point is the difference between the people who have been convicted and Donald Trump possibly being convicted. They went into a Capitol where they were not supposed to be, Tabitha.
the doors were open for them. The
I
gates
think you're
were
letting
open.
your heart get in the way.
No,
of
I'm
your
not.
brain
It
on
is
that.
a
You
fact.
can't.
You guys just don't like it when I disagree with you. It is a fact that they opened the doors, that these people went into the Capitol building, and they thought they were allowed to go in. That is a fact, according to these people in the testimony they gave. And, it'll all play out. We'll all
then
find
they're
out what
d-
happens.
Well, then they're dumb.
Well,
They know.
I don't
better.
think that they're dumb. I think that there
you
were.
don't do that. You don't do that.
I think that for the people who were out there that day in the heat of the moment and they see that the doors open and we see the video of some of the Capitol guards lifting the barricades and allowing people in, and we see Capitol Police taking selfies with some of these
There's
people.
no doubt that they were baited.
Correct.
There's
They were
no
baited.
doubt
They were
that-
baited for sure.
Okay, let's call it.
you can't.
Call
Tabitha,
a spade a spade.
Tabitha, you can't take the bait.
Yeah, call a spade a spade.
I'm not taking the bait. I don't believe
When somebody takes the bait, you pay a price.
I see where you're coming from, of course, but I don't believe that some of these folks who are sitting in prison right now because of what happened on January 6th, who have been sentenced to 4 years or more.
Now you're changing
in
the
prison.
argument. Yeah, now you're changing.
Well,
the
they were convicted.
Yeah,
They
now
were
you're changing the
convicted.
argument to the sentence, not being convicted.
Well, they were
They broke
convicted.
laws. They broke laws, Tabitha. And
I
it was-
don't agree with that.
Okay, well, that's fine, but I see that they broke laws. It was simple, and that's why they got convicted. And do I agree with it? Do I agree with the sentencing? No. However,
All illegal.
But this all started. Let's get back and not branch off. You compared them to Donald Trump.
Yes.
There's evidence that I see clear cut where they did something wrong. I don't see the clear cut evidence where Donald Trump did something wrong, black and white, which is why I don't believe he'll be criminally convicted.
But the people who are running the show aren't you. The people who are running the
That's
show
true. That's
will
true.
do
Yeah.
anything they can to convict
but there
him. That's
still
the
has to.
problem.
But there still has to be evidence.
But Vic said
They
the most
claim there
important
is.
thing. Vic said the most important thing is
No, he
that-
didn't. No, I'm kidding.
He really did, because all of a sudden, if you put this guy into a show monkey trial, you've now martyred him, and now you have to deal with all the people that are like, "Hey, wait a minute, he's basically his groundswell of support will start to rise around him. If DOJ does nothing, they just kind of make it a moot point. It's like, yeah, Congress basically found that this was an insurrection, and then they can campaign off of that, and then Trump's not a martyr.
And
Do you
that- and
really
that's-
want this back in the White House? Kind of a
That's
thing.
the problem. The people who are running the show, unfortunately, they believe this was an insurrection. I don't.
who are the people running the show? You mean Democrats in
Democrats
Congress?
in Congress. The people who hate us, the people who hate Trump, those are the folks running the show.
committee.
An illegal show. The committee is illegal. The January 6th committee, the entire process is illegal. And yet they've still convicted people and sent them to prison. It's wrong.
I hate that. I do hate that, Tabitha.
makes me sick.
I agree with you on that, Tabitha. But the fact that you say that Trump is going to be criminally convicted, I say he won't be, remains. And there's
We'll bet some cancel this when T
Oh,
shots.
here we
on
go.
this.
do that?
Here we go.
Oh, no.
Here we go.
Tabitha is our shot girl.
Oh, come on now.
No. That's her theme song.
Yeah.
Shot. She walks in. And that's the
Shot,
music.
and there she comes in, walking under the door.
And she's a sneaky shot girl. Like she'll sneak one in on you.
I think we overhype Tabitha's partying abilities, except for she's more of a bougie partier. She likes the nap.
I don't even go out, so I'm not sure how much of a partier I am, but
Exactly.
But that doesn't mean I won't bet you some cancel this shots
Okay.
at
all
Wendy's
right.
over whether or not Trump is convicted.
Look, here's the deal with the people that went into the Capitol building. You were baited. You lost. I mean, it's hard to take that bait and not do it. But you know what? There's people that were destroying the public buildings in Portland, Oregon. They were firebombing them. Where are those?
That's a great point,
Where,
Eric.
I mean, these are, federal buildings also that are being firebombed, not for one day, but for multiple months every night. Where is those trials? I'm cool with keeping everything even, but it's when they start to lift up that little mask of the justice is blind is when I really start to have a problem.
Oh,
Just
you're
start,
right.
stop
You're absolutely
blowing
right.
up government buildings anywhere. Don't break the glass. The glass in some of these cases was put in there in 1700 or 1800. So, it's like we need to mellow the hell out. Vic is right. Nothing's going to happen to Trump. They might put some show trial. They might put.
She gave you an evil look
I know.
when you said
No,
that.
I know.
She's not always right.
Everyone's
people.
entitled to their opinion, and I'm not always right.
They might
I
do a
be very
show
wrong.
trial with the documents out of Mar-a-Lago. They might
Suck it
do
for
that.
every
Yeah.
drop
Yeah.
of drama they can.
They might do something out of, the Trump business has already been dinged. They're going to start throwing as many rocks as they can, but they're going to measure themselves because I'm telling you, they don't want to deal with a guy that is martyred in the United States.
On your tax
running
dollars,
for president.
Eric, on your tax dollars.
Well, we've been told that we've got
You're
somebody,
paying for it.
and we're hoping at some point in time that we get the perspective
Yes.
of how somebody was baited when they were there in D.C. and they live in the area. We've been told we got a shot at getting somebody. We'll let you know if we do that. And, of course, we'll promote that. But we have been told that you were with me, right, Tabitha? Or did
Yes,
you know this
yes,
person?
yes.
Anyway, hopefully we get a chance to talk to that person so they can explain more so what happened that day from their perspective. But,
It is a waste of time.
it is what it is.
It is a
And
waste of
part
time.
of me thinks Trump likes it because it keeps him in the media.
And there's a part of me, and it's working on me. I don't know what they're doing. I like everything that Trump did as far as his policies go, but there's a part of me that wants to see a DeSantis come out and just kind of say and do it his way and see how he can take this. So it kind of worked on me, I guess.
I don't think DeSantis is going to run in 2024.
Maybe not.
Unless if Trump does get convicted and he cannot run, then I think there's a good possibility. But if Trump is running, I do not think DeSantis will do it.
Think about it.
It'll be too divisive for the
I would
party.
love for someone to put a book out together because I would love to know how much pressure. Because DeSantis isn't just going to be watching football one day in his house in the governor's mansion going, you know what, come here, honey. I'm kind of thinking about running for president. I don't think that's how it works. I think he gets phone calls from highly influential people with a lot of money, and they come to his house over and over, and they go, you have to run. As a matter of fact, we're going to guarantee you win if you run. And if that
Who are
kind
you talking about getting these calls?
DeSantis or whoever they want. I mean, it could be Kristi Noem, whoever they want other than Trump. How much pressure would you be under to make a bid for president of the United States? I don't think it's him making the decisions. I think that it's the pressure from other people saying you got to do this to save the country.
I would like to know, Eric, how much or how you can trust the judicial system in the way that you do. Because what I see
never
right
said I
now,
did.
I see a bunch of folks that were there in the Capitol building on January 6th who are sitting in an American prison in solitary confinement for 23 hours a day without due process, American citizens without due process,
Amen.
simply because they were there.
Amen.
And to your
Amen.
point earlier, Eric, look at the protests that took place that started with either Black Lives Matter or Antifa.
Yeah.
Over 50 people were killed.
Yeah.
Billions of dollars in damage. Just the
How
one
many-
in Minnesota. You know what? That was $5 billion in damage there. 1,500 businesses
How many
burned
people
down.
were
Who paid the
convicted for
price?
destroying Ferguson?
No one.
How many people were convicted for blowing up that car parts store? Remember that was always on the news.
No
That's how it
one.
was.
How many people went to jail for throwing Molotov cocktails in Starbucks or whatever was down there at the time?
Two people went to jail for throwing them at police officers.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
And we've got a guest coming up on the show, and he's a millennial, and he loves what we're doing already. He's Jay Nixon's son. He's Wilson Nixon.
There you go.
So I talked to him over the weekend. We're going to have him on the show. And you know what? Maybe he can answer some of those questions for you, too.
I hope so.
And he loves it. He loves what we do on this show.
Dude, if we-
to tell you
yeah.
what he's about.
Yeah. I mean, that's where I have a problem with our law system is that you're letting people out who literally assault people downtown St. Louis. But if the guy, what was his name that came in here? That was he shot the person because he was getting his car stolen. What was his?
Chuck Flagg.
Chuck. Thank you. Is when you have something like that, you don't have a law system that goes, you know what? We understand kind of why you shot somebody, but you do it downtown, and it's in the name of justice and equity that you don't take them to jail. Or you know what I'm saying? That's where I'm really starting to have a major problem. Is why should law-abiding citizens play the game if the other guys aren't playing the game? So that's something that needs to be addressed, in my opinion.
Well, when it comes to all that, too, Liz even says from our chat line, no one went to prison for burning the limo in D.C. at the inauguration. Just where's the justice on both sides? I think that's where people are.
And why
People
isn't
wanna see
Madonna
things-
being followed because she said she wanted to blow up the White House? Why isn't Madonna on some most wanted terrorist list? You know?
I think we know why.
Why? As she twirls her hair.
Because
It's
she
cute.
is
It's
a
adorable. She's twirling her
liberal
hair.
progressive, and nothing will ever happen to them. It'll never happen.
Well, there is. I mean, there's no doubt.
The scales are tipped.
Well,
there is.
gotta be
Unfortunately, and I
careful.
always try. What are you going to say?
Who's the chick? Who's the girl that held up the Trump head?
Kathy Griffin.
Kathy Griffin's getting sued right now by
She was, well, she did some other things though too. I mean, she was
She's a lunatic.
she was basically calling for his death or,
Yeah.
or like his assassination too.
She's an idiot.
she's an idiot.
no,
But
she was
she's-
canceled.
Yeah, but she's been selling everything because Elon Musk is like suing her for whatever reason, and she's like that is one way that you can really go after certain people. If you have more money than them, you can sue them into submission.
Yeah, it's money and media.
Yeah.
You need to have power in both or at least one.
Exactly.
And that's
Yeah.
where and that's why Elon has been able to do what he was able to do. That's why Dave Chappelle was able to do what he was
Yeah.
able to do. Money, and even when the media came after him, there's still media that was still on his side.
Mm-hmm.
Those are two big time examples.
Yeah. Yeah, the Chappelle's a media darling, and then all of a sudden he got involved in a quote unquote controversial topic, and there, that group of the LGBTQ jumped on him, and the media was like, "Uh-oh, what do we do now?" We love Dave Chappelle, but at the same time, it's like media with a cause, news organizations with a cause.
I just wanted to ask Tabitha from the Facebook line. And this is good, and not to harp on it. Just says, Tabitha, your lack of confidence that Trump won't be convicted because you believe they can actually make a case against him, or because we now know what we always knew before. It's what's suspected and what isn't suspected, which is that the current government administration is so corrupt to the core that it doesn't matter if there is a basis to convict him or not. They truly have no boundaries as to what they will do to get what they want. But
It would
still
be
has
the
to-
latter, yes.
But it still has to happen in a court of law.
Does it?
Yeah, I thought
Look
it
at
did.
all these other folks from January 6th. They're convicted on sedition charges, and they did absolutely nothing.
No. They had to go to trial. We talked to Al Watkins with one of his clients.
I
had to go
know.
to jail.
I
No,
remember
you
his
go to court.
client.
You can't be convicted without going to court.
The January 6th committee is illegal. These people have no business doing any of the things they're doing. Zero business doing any
we
of
do
the
know
stuff
that.
they're doing. None whatsoever. And I don't trust our government. It's not even a government, it's a regime. And it's not the Biden administration, it's the Biden regime. It's no different than a lot of other countries. It's a regime.
I like how you say that, the regime.
It is. It's a regime. And
so-
and they took the
it's so official
2020
sounding.
election by a coup. And that's what this was. People don't give it the right term. The election fraud was just part of a coup.
Don't you look at, though, and I'm going to ask you this directly, don't you look at, even if they did all of this, right? Even if everything in 20,000 mules is true, or 20 or 2,000, whatever it is, even if it's all true, don't you think that winning, you have to give them some credit for hiding all of this stuff also? It's like, even if they cheated that bad, man, they hit it well, because they really, they scuffed.
What? Did you just say they hit it well?
Yeah, because you have
You
all
haven't
of the,
watched 2,000 Mules
You're
yet.
right, but they have-
didn't hide anything. They don't have to hide it because no one's
Then
going
how
to
did
do
all of
anything
these
about
Republican secretaries of state certify elections? If they, it was like, we checked into everything. So you're saying that these people didn't check into everything?
First of all, a lot of those counties were overturned when they did the election audits. Those counties were overturned, and nobody's going to do a darn thing about it. Go watch 2,000 Mules, and then we'll come back and have this conversation again. Because I can guarantee you, Eric, the problem is the cheating is so obvious. But what the problem is the folks on the left, they know no one's going to do anything about it because the Biden regime is in charge.
Are you still interested in the Arizona governor's race?
Yes,
Of
and it's a
course.
big story.
Absolutely.
Because
All
now
right.
are you going to bring that up?
No, well, I'm just wondering. I
Carrie
put it
Lake
in-
says
in
this
the same
isn't
bucket.
over. She was a Republican candidate who has a massive problem with Hobbs, I believe her, the Democratic candidate,
Correct.
who certified her own election. Well, Carrie Lake sued, and they're going to get a hearing. And what's going to happen, I have no idea. Every time this has occurred, what happens is if there's a quote recount of some kind, all they do is they recount the votes that were there. They don't look to see if they were legal votes. That's the difference when you'll see people talk about this. They're not going to see if this person was dead, if this person existed, if it were made up, if they were underage, if they were legal citizen. They're just looking to see if it's a card. Okay, it was counted for Republican or Democrat. I'm not so sure any of these recounts will ever be 100% changing anything unless you're seeing if those votes were legitimate or not.
Well, there's a 2-day trial.
Yeah.
You know about that, January 2nd. And
But it was a win for Carrie Lake just to get that.
Yeah, it is, because apparently some judges basically said you got enough to have merit to come in here and show you whatever you think
And
you
yeah,
have.
it's the audit versus a recount.
Audit versus a recount, correct. And you know what? This is where I get on Tabitha's side,
What?
which isn't often. But this is where I side with Tabitha. All of a sudden, it's like you have your election. The day comes, Maricopa County, boom, power goes out, printers go out, everything goes out. This is maybe one of the most consequential elections in the United States because it's a border state, and you have a Democrat versus a Republican.
And not only a Republican, but a outspoken, on
Yes.
fire, dynamic female
Yes.
Republican who left her number one anchoring job. She was the number one anchor in
Yes.
Phoenix
Yes.
on a show.
Yes.
Left that. So, yeah. And she ripped Biden and basically said that Ron DeSantis had big balls.
Yes.
So, yeah, she had a big target on her back.
Yes. So all of us, what was the margin? It was very small. What was the margin
Minuscule.
of winning? Minuscule.
Maybe a percentage.
Okay.
1 point.
Oh my God, really? So you have a way to where votes could be inaccurate in Maricopa
Could
County.
be.
Yeah, could be. And there's a judge that has said, you know what? You have merit here. We're going to give you your day before we certify. I guess, is it certified or is it
Yeah.
not certified? Okay, it is
Because
certified.
here's the problem. In the state of Arizona, if you did not know yet, and if this isn't corrupt, I don't know what is, Hobbs, the current Democratic governor, had the power to certify her own win.
Boom.
I don't even understand how that's legal.
How is that
Hobbs,
legal?
And that's what they're trying to change the law. Had the right to certify her own election.
I know, isn't that crazy?
Come on.
And let's throw into
Come
the
on.
mix, they have federal only ballots in Arizona. And if you go back to the 2020 election, there were like, what was it, 350,000 federal only ballots. You know what that means? That means an illegal vote. So folks who live in this country,
Well-
in Arizona, who are not United States citizens, cast a ballot, which was a federal only ballot. And that swayed the election. That's unconstitutional.
I think that there's if that printer went down and something happens where this ballot has to be printed out somehow or whatever, if that is faulty, I don't see any way that you don't fix this other than having a special election, and you have to just redo it.
Is it possible? It's possible. Is it likely? No. But one of the biggest points that you didn't bring up yet about Maricopa County, and I'm glad Glenn did on our Facebook line, get this. Maricopa County has 23% registered Democrats. Somehow 53% of Maricopa County voted
Yeah,
for Democratic candidate Hobbs, not Republican candidate Lake.
exactly.
Come on. Let's break that down.
Yeah.
So there's so many question marks that pop up. And then Hobbs got to certify that, oh, yeah, that's legal. Of course it's great. Yeah, where there's smoke, there's fire for the most part, usually.
Yeah.
Then you got to get in there and see what the hell's actually
would have
going
been
on.
if Lake really did lose this thing, it would be a catastrophe for the Democrats. You have Youngkin in Virginia, who was elected because of school CRT garbage. Then if Lake would have been elected, you would have had a border state governor who says, I am going to vow to make this an invasion. I don't care what the federal government. She could be, in my opinion, if she was to be elected, she would have a platform to be the next female DeSantis.
Without a doubt.
Oh, my God.
That
is a disaster for the Democrats if that would have
Well, it's
happened.
because Carrie Lake gets it. She understands media. And if anybody's been in media, they understand what I say all the time. It's not that you're told what you have to say, but you're told what you can't say. And you know what's allowed in the newsroom. And you know what the newsroom is made up of when it comes to, quote, let's just say political leanings. It's not balanced in any form or any nature. She was taking a lot of blowback when she would have some of the comments that she'd had in the past in her life because she was sick and tired of what was going on in the newsrooms. And it's not just her who have brought these things up.
Yeah.
So she had a target on her back.
Yeah.
But she also knows what happens when it comes to messaging. And when you don't get that messaging and these things start to happen, then you have a double whammy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's not going away. Carrie Lake is not going away. I don't know what's going to happen.
Well, she was at Trump's Mar-a-Lago thing not too long ago.
She was there last week.
Yeah.
We showed pictures of her.
Yeah.
George.
Yeah.
A Republican friend from Michigan who was there for the log cabin event for the LGBTQ Republicans, who he says get canceled in this country by media and other Democrats, which is sad to hear because they share a different opinion than Democratic LGBTQ members. And he says it's ironic because we all want to be accepted, but our liberal friends who are like us cancel us because we want to be and feel like we should be conservative, which shows that they're fake. And that was coming from George, not me. Carrie Lake was there to support them. Donald Trump was there to support them. And Carrie Lake has a massive following. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where that goes.
Yeah, Carrie Lake is the kind of person that would go on The View and destroy them all.
Well, in a heartbeat.
And there's not a lot of people that are
If
like
they allowed
that.
her to
There's not a
speak.
lot. You would think it would have been a Meghan McCain.
Yeah, but who cares about The View anymore?
A lot of soccer moms from Ladue care about The View. Trust me, it's a propaganda wing of. I mean, it's just another propaganda wing of liberalism. It is. Sorry to say that it is. I used to like it when Barbara Walters was actually on it. They would actually talk about topics from a very center point of view. Now it's not like that anymore.
But she wasn't afraid. Carrie Lake was not afraid to speak. She's very eloquent because she was in the media.
Yeah, she's smart.
She's
not
smart.
going to get tripped up like Sarah Palin.
She's not. Yeah, she's not Sarah Palin.
I hate to say that, but
not by any means.
It sounds funny, but Sarah Palin was chosen by John McCain because she was a conservative female, and they didn't vet her very well. She doesn't. Carrie Lake does not need to be vetted. Yeah,
and Carrie Lake, even if she doesn't get her desired result when it comes to the gubernatorial election in Arizona, you have not heard the end of her. Not in the Republican Party, not by any means. Whether it is with a DeSantis, because they're tight.
Yeah.
They're very tight.
Yeah.
They're very close.
And we talk about it on this show all the time, my friends. You know what? The game has changed. If cheating is a part of the game, the Republicans better get on top of it. If the Republicans think that ballot harvesting was the cause of them getting defeated in the last how many elections, Republicans better figure out how to do some ballot harvesting. But they better figure out how to log on to Twitter and do some stuff as well.
They're getting there. I mean, they're getting there. I mean, you can fight hard, but once again, we've talked about this before with Tabitha. If you were bringing up conservative views, conservative values on Twitter, the algorithms were pushing you down. Your stuff wasn't being seen. It wasn't going out. Likes and dislikes, or likes, were not being shown. These are some of the things that would happen, Eric. There were programs. You were being monitored. We already know the FBI was limiting what you could say even on Twitter.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful about
whatever.
Where you're going with this and thinking what your message is actually going to get put out there.
Yeah. Ronna McDaniel, the RNC chair, is that they're thinking about pushing her out because she's been devastated.
Who are you talking about?
Rhonda McDowell, isn't that her name?
Ronna McDaniel.
Ronna McDaniel.
The
She's
chair of the RNC.
She's talking about getting rid of her, and there's an election coming up, and they're thinking. So there is some good stuff that is happening. The Mitch McConnells of the world, the rhinos. That's a thing of the past.
What? Oh,
No,
come
it's
on.
not a thing of the
It
past.
is a
the
thing of the
past,
future.
man.
You know,
The rhinos are a thing of the future.
Oh my gosh, Eric! I
Tabitha.
I had a long drive
I
last
agree
night.
with. I agree with
Well,
that.
While
wait
I
a minute, my mind is
Who
blown.
has the
well,
money?
I'll be
my
happy to
mind is
explain it
blown.
to you.
Okay, go.
What's very upsetting to me, I had a long drive last night, and this is something I gave a lot of thought to, that the Republican Party, us as Republicans or as conservatives, we're going to end up moving further to the middle, further into independent, because the GOP, the RNC, they support establishment candidates. They support the rhinos.
Hold on.
The Republican Party is the party of rhinos. And if we don't stand up and start doing something about that, we're no longer going to be. That's why I say I don't consider myself to be a Republican.
Maybe not.
Ronna McDaniel is a rhino. She supports rhino
What did I
candidates.
just say? So I think that we're running in the same circle. Mitch McConnell's a thing of the past. The rhinos are a thing of the past. Would you agree?
No.
I don't agree there.
What show am
There's
I
still
on?
too much power there right now.
No, because look what just happened.
The future of the Democratic Party is not Nancy Pelosi. Would you agree?
This has nothing to do with Nancy Pelosi.
She's a rhino in
Yes,
the Democratic
and there
Party.
are plenty more rhinos coming up through the ranks, plenty more of them. And I'm not going to get into specifics right now. We'll do that on another day. But I can promise you, on
Everybody
some of the,
thinks you're spot on. By
some
the way,
of the recent races that we've had, even right here in the state of Missouri, rhino candidates won. Guess who pushed for them? The GOP, the RNC, people in Trump's ear pushing for rhinos.
Do you really? Are
establishment
you calling
candidates.
Schmidt? Do you? I mean, do you really think Schmidt's a rhino candidate?
I don't think Schmidt's a rhino.
Not at all, Tabitha.
Can I expound on that a little bit?
Teach me.
I really like Eric Schmidt. I think he was a fantastic attorney general. I think he did some really amazing things. I think there were things he should have done that he didn't do. A little bit of both, but that's anybody in that position. What my fear is with Eric Schmidt,
I give him an A for attorney general.
I agree. I'm
Amen.
with you on that. I think he's a super nice person.
so now he goes to Washington. He's in a rhino.
Well, what my problem, or not my problem, my concern is moving forward. Eric Schmidt wants to be president. There's no question about it. I don't care if he tells you he does or he doesn't. There's no doubt in my mind he wants to be president. That means in order for him to be president, does he have to play the game? Does he have to play the establishment game?
Establishments are not going to be a thing much longer.
Mitch McConnell gave $6.7 million in an anti-Greitens campaign. Why did he do that? Because he feared Greitens.
Well, Greitens called him out. As soon as Greitens said he was running for Senate, he said, if you vote me in, I'm going to vote Mitch McConnell out.
That's exactly right. So why do you think McConnell, and McConnell obviously feels that Eric Schmidt is not going to go against him, or he wouldn't have done that. And I'm not saying that Eric Schmidt is a rhino. I'm not saying I do think he's fairly establishment, and that's not a terrible thing. My concern is any candidate, no matter how good they are, if they want to become president, how willing are they going to be to play the game and be a rhino and be an establishment candidate to get to that position?
There's a few in the House of Representatives that aren't rhinos. That's for damn sure.
No, there are. You're 100% right.
The
about
majority of Republicans in Congress are rhinos. The majority are
The
establishment.
groundswell of politics in the Conservative Party is starting to show its face. The rhinos are already there. They're the targets, right? The Mitch McConnells of the world, the Collins out of Massachusetts. They're the rhinos. They have targets on their back. Would you not agree with that? They're the ones that they're coming for. They're gunning for.
You mean we? No, not there. We're coming for
the new face of Republicans who are up and coming.
Well, yeah, but they got to
Right.
get those positions of power.
We need to come for those people. There is no room in the Republican Party or the Conservative Party for rhinos or establishment candidates because those folks don't care about us.
I think
The Republicans can't even pick a majority leader right now, Eric.
That's right.
We are in big trouble. That's
There's
where we're
a
at.
definite divide, and maybe that's the point you're making.
Yeah.
There's a definite divide on the Republican side, and a recent poll showed that most Americans, and it was by an over 60%, I think it was 62, like 62% of Republicans thought that Mitch McConnell should be out
Yeah.
of his seat. And even with the numbers being as big as they are,
Correct.
you're still talking about somebody who holds power, holds money,
This stuff
holds
will
attention,
see how this stuff makes.
and maybe holds favors over people. And that's what happens in politics.
If your name is
It's not for the faint of heart.
If your name is Karen and you live in O'Fallon, Missouri, you see how this would make your eyes gloss over if you're just
Don't
not
make
into
fun of the
politics?
Karens.
I'm just saying. You see how it would make your eyes just completely gloss over? It's you have this nice little house. You send your kids to a nice little school, and you see how the Democrats they relish this kind of stuff. I'm just saying, the future cannot be these guys that are like part-time Democrats that vote for Democratic issues. I'm thinking that this groundswell is the only thing that you have, and to bring it all back home, that's where a Kerry Lake and a DeSantis seems kind of logical to me.
I would be perfectly fine with that. I love DeSantis. I love
They're
Kerry
young.
Lake.
They're
I
charismatic.
love Noam. There's so many folks I like Bill Eigel. I'll tell you what, being a Missourian, I hope Bill
We're
Eigel.
not talking about presidential.
I
Bill
am
Eigel-
talking about presidential.
Oh, Tabitha.
I think Bill Eigel
We
would
all
make a
love Bill.
phenomenal president.
Okay.
I really do. I think I could see him rising through the ranks. He's charismatic.
Well, you never know. But
He's fighting for the right reasons. I don't think he's establishment. I think as long as he didn't play the game, I think he'd be a phenomenal president. You don't agree?
No, I'm not. It's just let's start with governor first, and then go.
We
from
all
that.
have to start somewhere.
Yeah,
Vic. We all have to
exactly.
start. You might be the president.
this is
No,
definitely
I'm not.
the eyes gloss over version of cancel this, because it is so, it is in the weeds. This stuff is way in the weeds, and this is kind of the point I'm making, is that you have to make this stuff pop culture. You have to make the Republican cause way more pop culture. You have to make 18-year-olds want to go out and harvest ballots. You know what I mean? And what we're saying in today's show is that this is all just theoretical stuff. Right now, the only way that Republicans are going to win is if they can young down their crowd. They can come up with messaging, because right now Democrats are just poised to win for the next
No, they are. And I talked
decade.
to and we're going to have a young Republican leader here from the state of Missouri on in the show in the next 2 weeks, and he says they recognize it. The Republicans recognize it, and they recognize that the 18 to 34 crowd right now is dominant liberal.
And if you had a football team and your team was 1-15 or 1-16, you don't think that the fans would start clamoring for a new coach? Rhonda McDowell.
Well, yeah, but most people, they don't even know who that is, Eric. Most adults who are Republicans have no idea who she is.
And that's why.
Oh, I don't agree with
And
that.
that's why this is the eyes glossing over segment.
You think the majority of Republicans don't know who Ronna McDaniel
No,
is?
average.
McDaniel.
No,
See, I don't even know
average.
her
Your
name.
average.
And maybe so. Maybe because I'm
Yes.
talking about this stuff all the time.
100%.
Maybe to me, that's why I do.
100%.
Our eyes are glossing over in this conversation.
Mine aren't.
But it's an important
I'm ready to
conversation
go out
to
and fight
have.
someone over it.
It's an important conversation to have. If you don't want to have, like Tabitha keeps talking about, a revolution, then you better start having this conversation first.
There's a
How
lot-
do you go win elections?
We couldn't win a darn thing right now. We didn't even, like I said, there was no red wave. You know why? Because our party is so divided. We are such a mess. I don't know how we will ever pull it together. I really don't. We're too all over the place.
Okay.
Too many you know what the problem is? The Republican Party is pro-establishment, but the people are anti-establishment. We don't align together. The party doesn't represent the majority, and it's a real problem.
Well, Doylene says conservatives need to really start working on Black, Hispanic, and 20 to 30-year-olds when it comes to the vote. Couldn't agree more. Country's changing. Demographics change. I do know and have been told that Republicans are working in that manner, but it's a definite uphill battle, and that it could take a generation or two, but you have to start somewhere because all you have to do is look at all of the Hispanic vote that Donald Trump got.
Check out Black Pack.
He did, and Donald Trump got the highest vote percentage of Black vote that he had got that any Republican and president had since was it 60s. Might have been Nixon when there really you had no candidates and people were just excited to get to vote.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was, and it was still a small margin.
Yeah, and I think
a
that
very, very small margin.
We talk about the good old days, and I think that a lot of Republicans, well, first of all, they're boomers. They're not Gen X. They're not millennials. They're boomers. They're older, so they want the good old days. So that's why they look at these young conservatives and go, "That's not my thing, man. That's not me. I want to go back to the good old days where you just didn't think about politics. You only thought about politics every 4 years, and people just kind of got the job done." So then you have the Tabitha Hassels who are on the other side of the spectrum who are like, no, you have to young this thing down. You have to play the game. So that's where the divide is. The thing with the Democrats is no matter how you got there, no matter what you lied to your constituents about Cori Bush with the Black Lives Matter and defund the police, or you had, someone else that said we got to raise taxes on everything. However you got to the dance, they all vote together. No matter how the Democrat got into the seat that they hold in Congress, they walk around like a bunch of lemmings. They are led by the nose by their leadership. No matter what, they will vote lockstep. 51 votes are coming to the Senate. There's not that you don't debate it. At the end of the day, if you're a Democrat, if you're a Joe Manchin, Kristen Sinema, you can count on their vote.
Well, and regardless of the issue, and you brought it up earlier, when the press secretary insisted pretty much that the border was not open and that anyone suggesting otherwise was doing the work of human smugglers, which was just bizarre. She continues to have bizarre press conferences, but is protected by what you say, Eric, the Democratic Party. And even Democrats who disagree and know that she's arguably the worst press secretary that we've ever seen, they can't say it publicly because they're in lockstep. Mm-hmm. They can't ask for somebody else because they're afraid to say anything to the White House.
That's right.
When it comes to that. Now, it's also been told that you're going to expect between 9,000 to 15,000 new arrivals per day because of this going on. The Supreme Court jumped in and said, that the end of Title 42 may lead to that, but we're not going to let you do what you want to do. And Eric Schmidt was one of the attorney generals who jumped in on this to take care of that situation as well.
Yeah.
She said it would be wrong to think that the border is open. It is not open. Okay.
She's a moron. I'm sorry. I don't say that lightly. She is.
Yes.
Because she has the audacity to lie. I mean, I don't care. I mean, everybody lies in politics, but you have the audacity to go on camera and say the border is not open is a complete lie. It would be like saying PRL plays the best in polka music all night long. That's a lie. Not that I wouldn't want to.
I know. So many of these stories continue to come out on a daily basis. And before people start to take off, we want to remind everybody about our party as well. We've got it scheduled for Thursday night kickoff party, Wenty, 7 p.m. unless it snows. And if there's a possibility of snow, we're not going to have the party. We'll be letting you know by tomorrow to make sure that we're all on the same page. And then if so, who knows? I'll talk to the bar restaurant. We'll see if we can push it to maybe the next Thursday, the 29th. But that's just thinking out loud right now. And by the way, when we have a chance, we want to remind everybody, please share the show. Share it with everybody you possibly can. Even if you're watching on Facebook, go to YouTube, subscribe, and click the bell. That helps us out as well when it goes to that standpoint. We're also on Rumble. You can watch us there as well. Push out our stuff. If you like something, if you don't like it, push it out. We're going to have those conversations. We're going to continue to see where this can go. Obviously, we're based out of St. Louis, but we're talking the national issues. If there's a guest, somebody that you would love to hear on the show, if you have a contact, let us know, because we're certainly trying to continue to follow up with that as well. And the kickoff party is it's on right now, but it may not be.
Tomorrow we'll have a nice, happy show.
If you stop a state.
Will we? I'm not so sure
Tomorrow
about
we'll
that.
have a nice, happy show. And
Then we would have named the show. Then we would name the show "Sunshine and Rainbows and
Puppy dogs
Cookies
and lollipops
and Lemonade Poolside."
We have to have
All those fun things.
show tomorrow.
I thought we had a happy show.
Did we?
Yeah.
Fridays are for happy shows, Eric.
Oh, okay.
Business Monday through Thursday.
Scotty will be Conspiracy Friday.
Well, yeah, exactly. And that's what happened. If anybody has ideas on our free-for-all Conspiracy Fridays, please let us know what you may want to see there, too. Another something, we talked a little bit about it. No deaths being reported from the 6.4 magnitude earthquake that hit California. If you've ever been through an earthquake, that's some scary
I have
stuff.
not. I have not.
Eric doesn't believe that tornadoes or hurricanes exist because he's never been through
Or
any.
ghosts or UFOs.
Eric.
But you've experienced ghosts, so of course you believe
Well,
in ghosts.
did I? Question mark.
Yes. No. Yes.
Did
yes, Yes. Yes.
Or was
you
it just
did.
my mind going nuts? on
Tabitha?
me?
We were running out of time. I don't know if there's anything you can bring up with it. I was waiting. With Putin saying now they've got themselves into a problem because they're occupying certain parts of Ukraine.
You mean
Is
the video that Putin has released yesterday?
he's admitting that Russia has some issues when it comes to where they are. There's some extremely complicated situations.
It is a very complicated situation, and what we need to remember is that Putin will not lose. He will not lose. He is going to do whatever it takes to win. So none of it really matters because they've taken over these different regions of Ukraine in the east. He is not going to let those regions go. And we can lob as much as we want. I mean, to think about this, Ukraine has the full support of NATO, of Europe, of the United States. We keep sending all of these heavy artillery weapons over there. We're sending money, billions of dollars of stuff. And we're throwing everything we have at it, and Russia is still standing strong. And we have to think about that. They are never going to give up. We right now, in the meantime, we have troops who are training in training exercises right now in Germany. And you know why? Because we're trying to teach our Marines how to fight in the cold because it's very cold and it's winter in Ukraine right now. There is no doubt we are going to end up with boots on the ground in a war with Russia. It is going to happen.
That's a
Be prepared
massive
for it.
statement.
It is going to happen because you know what? Putin will not give up. We're not going to give in. We're going to protect our assets in Ukraine. We already have troops over there, and people just don't talk
What if
about
a Republican were to take office in 2 years instead?
You know what? If Trump were in office right now, none of this would be going on. Putin would have never, ever invaded Ukraine. We would not be sending any of these weapons or heavy weapons over there. None of this would be taking place.
And there's another thing. It's maybe someone can tell me if this is a Conspiracy Friday thing, but is Putin dying for real? Are they always show that he's got some kind of Parkinson's or that he's on stage 4 cancer. I can't tell if it's just because it's on Twitter or social media or if it's actually a real news story, which could concern me a lot because could you imagine being the president of Russia and on your way out, you launched a couple nuclear missiles at somebody? You know, it's like, what do I have to lose?
That's a scary thought.
All of a sudden, you are now known forever in the annals of Russian history as Lord Vladimir, who launched nuclear weaponry at Ukraine, or even at Europe, for that matter. I mean, could you imagine that? So I would love to find out if Putin is actually sick, dying, or whatever.
I don't know if we'll ever know. There's a lot of people who believe that he is. I don't know that we will ever know. I mean, because a lot of that could be propaganda as well, because they want him to seem weak. They also want him to seem crazy. So we don't know. But I will tell you one thing. I would rather have Putin as our president right now than Joe Biden.
Isn't that what we're doing
Any
in America?
day. Any day.
Isn't that our philosophy with Joe Biden? We're trying to make him seem weak. And we've got some other good plan.
You know, if we were really, if we had 40,
No, you're right.
If we
that
had
fell on deaf ears.
It's so true is what the problem is.
I was hoping that was on purpose.
Our country has lost its mind.
You look so sad over there. But if we had like 40 million viewers, like some podcasts have, tonight's evening news would be Tabitha Hassel says she would rather have Putin than Biden.
And I'm not the only one. I can guarantee you, I am
that one.
not.
I'm having a hard
not
time.
the only
that
one.
one's sinking in. But
you
know what?
Eric,
you like
that's
what
a
you,
great.
You,
No,
you like
that's
what
how
you
we
like.
should-
I guess
We should start. No, we should start that off tomorrow. Seriously.
What's that?
Would you rather have Putin as your president or Joe Biden?
We'll see how the bots react.
Oh, my God.
We could do a poll.
Eric.
We could do a poll.
I want to hear what people have to say.
Starting tomorrow. All right, can we do
No,
that?
I'm
Scotty, where would we put
fascinated by that question.
Where would we
what
put
do we
it?
need to do?
There is a way to put a poll. We can figure that out.
Okay.
And we will do that tomorrow.
All right.
Right out of the gate.
So
somebody's
you
like,
really
well,
want-
at least Putin's loyal. I mean, I'm telling you, I've got a feeling, Eric.
I don't think as a matter of fact, I wouldn't say it if I thought I was the only one. I can promise you. Well, actually, I still would.
Everybody's all over Putin, and I thought that would be the case, Eric.
Drew Collins goes, wow. And I thought, he's calling you un-American for saying
Well,
something.
because
of course
he's a
he is.
Democrat.
Well, of
He's a
course.
Democrat.
I would rather have Putin than Biden. You know what? I will tell you one thing about Putin and Russia right now.
Damn.
Russia is rising and the United States is falling.
That's a fact.
It is a fact.
Holy crap, people are weighing in on your question already.
Okay, and first of all, in Putin's not a Russian dictator.
I thought that's why I
Russia
asked
is
it. I
not
thought
a
it would be a good
communist
question.
country. Putin has never ruled a communist country. By the time he became president, communism was already gone. Is he a great person? I'm not saying that he is. I think you have to do a certain level of things to rise to that position. I'm not saying that Russia's a perfect country or that he's a perfect man, but he's better than Joe Biden is.
Yeah, I'm going to be following these comments throughout the day.
It's
Jill just said,
interesting.
if Putin was your president, he's going to defend you and your country. I mean,
Why do we have to? Why can't we just-
everybody is Putin.
I wonder if.
Yes, he was KGB, Donna. He was at
He
one
was
point in time.
KGB.
Hell yeah, he was.
He was KGB.
And the stories were nasty.
Tabitha.
I mean, you know what? You have to do what you have to do to remain in power.
Why can't we just go
like
find
I just said, I'm not saying he's a saint.
You mean to tell me out of 350
And neither
million
has
people,
Joe Biden been a saint.
Well, he thinks he is. But you think me to tell me we out of 350 million people, we can't find one Ronald Reagan or a JFK?
I don't know. I think I'd rather have Putin riding bareback on his horses
In Florida, on the beach,
on the beach.
as a SpaceX missile is going up behind him, rockets going up behind him. Yeah, saying take that, China.
All right, that's a great statement.
And two-thirds of the citizens in Russia support Putin. By
They
the
do,
way.
and that is so key. They do. They got him. They got their back. There's a pride. It's about nationalism. We love our country. We're going to fight and defend our country,
Do you
like
see,
we were in the '80s with the Rockies movies.
Exactly.
And now we've lost that. Now
Are we
it's-
still working with
a
the
sense of
Russians in
globalism
space?
are being pushed on us.
We're still working with the Russians in space. Is
Not
that correct?
really. We're kind of at. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of people who believe that we are at war with Russia in space because they attack our satellites, as does China. We attack their satellites. There's a lot going up there with Space
As
Force.
Tabitha says, one of her favorite 2-word phrases: proxy war.
That's right.
It is there. And
We
call it a
are.
show.
That's exactly right. We already are at war with Russia. We already are. So that's not something that's going to happen. It already has happened.
And we thank you for joining us for Cancel This today. We're going to call it a show.
Okay.
Of course, you can always. Did you have anything else you want to say, Eric?
Nope, that was it. I'm tomorrow. I'm taking Prozac, and I'm going to be happy.
Bring some for everybody.
And trust me, everybody, you do not want the looks that Tabitha gives me when you're this close.
That's not true.
You do not want that.
I love you, Eric.
It's the
I love
things
all of you. You know
Nightmares
that.
are made out
And
of.
it is Cancel This. Of course, you go to canceltheshow.com, share the show, canceltheshow.com. You can check out our podcast, share the show, go to YouTube, Rumble, subscribe, click the bells, get us noted there even more so. We're doing what we can. We'll make a decision on that party tomorrow. Scotty Gherkin on the boards, Eric Johnson, Tabitha Hassel. I'm Vic Faust. We appreciate you making the show what it is. We're off to a great start. Sounding good, looking good. Lots more to come. Let us know if there's anything else, topics we should be covering. If there's guests that you feel would be great, let us know. We're ready to do it. It is Cancel This, trying to do it better than we did yesterday, that's for sure. Thanks for joining us. Till next time.